everyone. Welcome. We've got clouds, a bit of mist, some rain. Let's call it liquid sunshine as we entertain week number 2 in the Atlantic Football University football schedule, a battle of the undefeated teams. Last week, Acadia knocked off Santa Fe's 18-8. St. Mary's over Mount Allison in what has turned out to be a national week-long story. Regardless, both teams are undefeated. How do the coaches feel about this game? We had an opportunity to drop down to the respective practices this week. First up is Acadia coach Sonny Wolf.
Who's the coach?
Oh, goodness, I don't think it's changed a heck of a lot, to be honest with you. Obviously, the kids playing today are different than the ones just in terms of who they are. But Steve Asapis, who played in year 1, is now coaching, and Eric Cedarberg, who probably played in year 5, is now coaching. That's the biggest change. The game is still the same. It's exciting to coach. It's exciting to play. Fan base seems to be as great, if not greater, than what it was way back when. So there are more similarities than differences.
So in the years I've seen you play, the word that I would best use to describe you would be consistency. Consistently, you put out a good product. But you've seen cyclical changes. There have been years, a couple of years ago, I think you had the best passing attack I've seen here in 20 years. Is it a case where your opponent this year is basically hitting a high?
Certainly St. Mary's are as good a team, I think, as we've seen in this conference. The best opponent, I believe, that we've played against. They're certainly on the high end of that cyclical kind of movement. We think we're approaching the high as well. We're young in some areas, we're veteran in other areas, so we think that we're going to be a real good football team, and clearly this game is going to be the test as to how good we are early in the season. The season goes for a long time.
It does. When I think of Sonny Wolf, I think of quarterbacks. I think of Justanis, and I think of Scatcherd, and I think of Verge. How does what you have? It's a little different. Are you more like Don Shula, where you have to adapt to the talent that you have?
Well, I think all coaches would do that. We've got Marco Picot starting at quarterback. The nature of the offense changes then if it's Kristen Pipe or Blaine Scatcherd or Trevor Martin. So yeah, you do. Each of those quarterbacks were predominantly throwing quarterbacks. Marco is a little more athletic, and we'll try to move him around a little bit, hopefully make it a little more difficult for the defense to know where he's at, and therefore their blitzes maybe on occasion will misfire.
Sonny, I'm sure a lot of people in the Maritimes are probably curious as to Kristen Pike. Can you tell us the status and maybe something about him?
Kristen has been out of the hospital now for the best part of 10 days. It appears that all the signs are real positive. It appears that the operation has been a success. He still has to have another blood count done prior to the doctors being absolutely certain that all is well, but it appears that is the case. We're hoping that Kristen might be here within about 10 days and maybe taking a part-time course load, starting to practice and train again, and getting his life back in order.
I attend a few of the practices throughout the year, and I like to hear Coach talk about special teams. Greg Williams in Buffalo says they make all the difference in the world. They're pretty important to you, aren't they?
Well,
in a close game, sometimes it's a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Oftentimes it will be. Last year, Regina made a couple of plays on kickoff returns that probably would have been the most significant plays, and that's not unusual. And in a close game, oftentimes the special teams will be the separating factor. A real easy mathematical formula. There are 3 parts of the game: O, D, and special teams. If you win special teams, you've got 1/3 of the battle won. Now you only have to win on offense or defense. If you lose on special teams, you got to win both offense and defense. So, it's maybe oversimplifying the game, but it's not far from the truth.
Last question. Do you break the season down into several categories, like opening week, then getting close to the playoffs, and then the playoffs, or is every game mean something of importance to you?
Every game does in a different kind of way. Certainly an exhibition game has a different meaning than the opener in terms of the league schedule. Now we're playing the defending champion, so there's a different kind of an atmosphere, and we're just looking forward to the challenge.
You came here 18 years ago. Did you think you'd be here nearly 20 years later?
You know what? I was hoping that the first year would be good, and it was, and it's gotten better and better.
Well, it's been a pleasure watching you, Sonny. Good luck to you this game and this season.
Thank you very much, Alex.
Thank you. That is head coach Sonny Wolf. You know one thing about Sonny Wolf, people have comments, pro and con, and following this conference, one thing I think he's provided for has been an incredible offensive strategy. When I look at the times that I've seen Blaine Scatcherd, Trevor Martin, Larry Justanis, he is exciting. That's why it's interesting today to think that Acadia University, well known for a passing game, will probably depend on a running game. because Marco Picot is more of a runner than he is of a thrower. We got some injuries factored here. Josh Labucki is a question mark for St. Mary's. He's going to start. How long he'll stay? Conversely, we have Dan Carnival out for Acadia. Let's go to Blake Nill. We had a lot of comments. It's been an interesting week for the St. Mary's University coach.
First game, traditionally, they put up a fight. They have been a good opponent over the years. What do you know about them, not having seen them, just hearing reports?
You know, again, we're expecting a very tough, match today. We're going in there thinking that we're going to have to play our best football. Looking, I think everyone realizes by now that the loss of their quarterback is going to hurt them. If they decide to go with the one kid's more mobile, a good option kid, maybe doesn't have he played quarterback. I'm talking about Picot, by the way. He played quarterback in Sept, but he's he doesn't have that much experience at this level, and besides, he's one of their best receivers, so they lose a top-notch receiver. We're going to expect a lot more running, especially if he's in there. The other kid, good arm, a little bit less mobile. We've seen him a few times, so we're expecting them to run the football, to be quite frankly. I think we're going to try to take them out of the run. I can't believe I'm saying this versus an Acadia game, or Acadia team, but we're going to try to get Acadia to try to throw the football. We're going to force them to throw the football, and we'll see how it goes from there. Offensively, we're just going to keep moving along. Our timing's starting to get down. We're doing a good job with our O-line. We don't have too many injuries. We're not that banged up, and I think Ryan Jones is in mid-season form already. The backs are outstanding. Les Mullins is doing a great job. Lewis is doing a great job. It's great. Gabe Harvey's back now. So we're excited, and we're just going to go there and have a good time.
I guess the word depth manifests itself today because Dean Jones has got a back problem. On their side, when I look at some of their offensive players, and he's not on offense, but I think of Jermaine Romans as conceivably an offensive threat on special teams.
We're very concerned about Jermaine. He's a tremendous athlete. What worries me most about Jermaine is on special teams. The guy has burnt us bad. The last two playoff games we've played, it was last year in the AUA final or AUS final, we say, remember what happened last year in the final, and the guy takes one back on us about 70 yards again. We're going to try to keep the ball away from Jermaine, put it in the hands of some other people, and I think our special teams has picked it up a notch this year, and we're going to, this is going to be a big test for us.
Blake, the last question. Usually the Premier or the Prime Minister is the top newsmaker, but around here in the past week you have been. Do you have any closing comments on the episode, or do you want to put everything behind you and it's the game at hand?
Well, I want to put everything behind us. It's been a difficult week. I've had a lot of support. I've had a lot of people call to express their displeasure. But I think at the time, it was something that I'll be the first to admit. Maybe I was a little harsh, but I just want to put it behind me. I don't want to see anything happen to Mount Allison. This league can't exist with three teams. Mount Allison has a tremendous tradition, and I hope they can get back on their feet as soon as possible.
Great.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to Atlantic University Sport Football. On behalf of Jonathan Chaders, I'm Alex J. Walling, and we're here in Wolfville. And of course, the first thing we heard, and rightly so, especially in these times, a spirited rendition of Canada's national anthem. We might have ourselves a spirited game. Welcome on board, John. Your thoughts? Is the weather at all an equalizer?
Absolutely. We're looking at two teams here who play on very different types of atmospheres. St. Mary's, obviously a turf team, Husky Stadium, not liking the wet conditions here in the grass at Raymond Field. Acadia University, on the other hand, takes pride in playing in the mud. They want to get down and dirty today.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question because, football is football. Isn't a good athlete, should he not be able to play, throw, run, catch, regardless of field surface?
You're absolutely right. Everybody does want to be versatile and be able to play on concrete if they have to. If they want to be able to play in weeds if they have to. But you know what? The reality is every little thing makes a difference.
We'll talk about that, but right now, the Acadia Axemen will be kicking off, getting ready to return. Curtis Nash, number 12. And it looks like Josh Labucki, from where I can see it here, number 16. We'll take a look at it, or it looks like Les Mullings for the case, so Nash and Mullings. And if there's a very strong component to the game is the kicker, Matt Sharp. We're here in practice earlier this week. The man can boot them, and I bet you this could end up by being an interesting kick. I would not be kicking off to Curtis Nash. I'm not the coach. Jonathan, your thoughts?
You're absolutely right on that, Matt. Curtis Nash is one of the premier returners, as well as Kareem Grant and Kyle Romans on the Acadia side of the ball. Question becomes, if you don't kick it to Curtis Nash, do you kick it to Les Mullings?
Well, let's find out. Let's look for ourselves. It is Gunnar Mullings, who fumbles, picks it up around the 10, finds a hole, and drop down. Not a bad return as a result of what happened. Brought down by Matt Green, was the leading tackler in that rush. Downfield, breaking up the wedge. I wonder if the slippery conditions, John, led to it.
You're absolutely right. Again, when the rain starts coming down, the football will get very slippery very soon. The ball was waiting out there for the referees to get going. It picked up some moisture. That's going to be a factor all day. Look for that from the quarterbacks, the receivers, and the kickers as the game progresses.
Let's take a look at it. Ryan Jones, let's set it up for you. Jones, the quarterback. Eric Hoakim. And number 34, Luis Perez in the backfield. We'll get to the receivers momentarily. First down. Handoff. Fake. Jones rolls. Will keep it. Surprising call, John, on the very first one, or was that perhaps a miscommunication?
I think that's going to be miscommunication on the St. Mary's ball. Number one rule, when you're the number one team in the league, never let your quarterback go into a position where he can get hurt. And he took a pretty good hit there. That's something St. Mary's wants to stay away from all day long.
You never want to put your quarterback, which that's why, unless you're guaranteed to go out of bounds or something, so rather surprising. However, they got picked up a good gain, 9 yards on the play, 2nd and 1. We'll set up Acadia's defense momentarily. Akeem Perez in the backfield. Curry, one of the wideouts. Perez gets Will have the first down as Bertrand. First guy on the play, Eric Bertrand for Acadia. St. Mary's, of course, Aldery, Salmus, Michel Sylvain, Ferguson, and Moody. That big offensive line. Travis Tyler, one of the wideouts to our side. Jones, conventional under the center. Hands it off. Perez. Tackled on the play. Beautiful tackle on the play by number 44, Eric Bertrand. Good penetration defensively, John.
You're absolutely right on that. This is something that the offensive line are not going to be happy about earlier on. Bertrand himself, as well as Smith and the rest of the Acadia defense, are getting right through. They're making Jones move. Jones doesn't want to move. Jones wants to stay back and wait for a receiver to be open.
Well, he's staying back. He's staying around 7 yards back. Shotgun formation, 2nd, 9 yards. Romans on the corner, guarding against Curry. Over the middle, Ryan Jones completed. It looks to David Stella. Nice play. One completion for David Stella. And Jones's first play and throw of the game. Right on the midfield stripe. Well, perhaps a foot over Acadia territory. Shotgun. One back in the backfield. Perez gets the ball. 45. Very close to a first down.
I think you got it on that one, Alex. But what we're seeing here early in the game is St. Mary's is again keeping the ball on the ground. In wet conditions again like this, quarterbacks tend to drop the balls. Receivers may get their hands on the ball, make the catch, but it's slippery. It's going to go through. Throughout the day, we're going to see Louis Perez stand up.
First down at the 44-yard line. Acadia in their traditional white uniform. St. Mary's, the maroon and white. The quarterback is Jones. And nobody in the backfield. 6 receivers set. Throws to the side. Completed. Tyler moves it back upfield before he's pushed out of bounds. You know, years ago, John, Acadia was about the only team in this country that flooded 6 receivers. A lot of college teams have adapted that.
You're absolutely right, Alex. Again, the game progresses throughout the years. And where in the past we would have seen almost exclusively running teams, now we're seeing teams exclusively wanting to throw the ball, trying to move the ball as quickly as possible.
Well,
St. Mary's are a key example of that.
On that time, traditional backfield, Akeem gets the ball over center. And of course, to set up some of the Acadia defenders, Bertrand, Ayers, Reed Smith, Matt Sharp, Peony, Matt Green is the rover or safety, and Jermaine Romans is perhaps the strongest cornerback, not only in the league, but certainly one of the big ones in this country. As Ryan Jones fakes, gets ready, protection holds. Oh, nice grab by Patrick Tebow. Beautiful throw. Nice grab by Patrick.
That was a good job, Alex. And again, this is what we see when we see receivers from St. Mary's University. They're willing to go up for the ball, they're willing to take the hit, and they're going to hold on to the ball all the time.
Well, I wonder if the throwing conditions there, that looked more like a Joe Cap attempt. Cap, a quarterback, many years ago, they said he threw the, let's say not the prettiest ball, but you know what, he completed it. That's the name of the game. Curry, one of the wideouts. Slot back Roberge. Perez, the only back. He gets it. Up in front, going through, penetrating to around the 6-yard line. And while we have people here, want to welcome people from Prince Edward Island, that fine island. Anna Green Gables, of course, picking up this broadcast today on Eastlink Television. Welcome on board. 11 minutes and 5 seconds left in the opening quarter. This is the opening drive. Ryan Jones, over 65% completion last year. Nailed is Perez. A bevy of tacklers led on the play by number 44, Eric Bertrand, or Bertrand. And he's certainly getting his work out in the early moments of the game.
Absolutely, Eric is having an outstanding game. He's getting up through the SMU line. This is something that a lot of teams are unsuccessful in doing. Guys like Jean-Michel Servan, guys like John Solmis, guys like Steve Morley are very strong on the O-line, and getting through them is quite the task. Outstanding job from the Acadia D.
However, having said that, St. Mary's have done one heck of a drive. The opening one, they're knocking on the door. Third down, and this should be an interesting call. Initial reaction is that Acadia has stopped St. Mary's. What a boost.
That they
Let's
have,
take a look
Alex.
at the play, Johnny.
Here we go, Luis Perez coming into the tackle here, and a sea, an absolute sea of white jerseys coming around him. St. Mary's needs to get their offensive line in there, or else they're not going to be able to move the ball throughout the game. Especially as the game goes on, the field is going to get into worse and worse conditions. The rain is being a major factor today.
Well, take a look at a person down there on the field of play as Acadia gets ready to get their very first chance at moving this football. We have some of the receivers, of course, as we set up the Acadia offense for you. Dan Carrillo, Mike Grinnicombe, Corey Ellison, Andrew Cockett, and Andy Knoll are your primary receivers for the Acadia Axemen.
Taking a look at the injured receiver, or the injured axeman coming off the field, that's Bertrand now. He's been a big part of their defense up until this point, getting in, getting hands on guys, taking Louis Perez and making him less of a factor than he could be. He's going down, he's holding on to his wrist there. If he can't come back, what about the defense?
We shall see. Marco Picot playing his very first game ever, and he's been in this league for 4 years, a standout all-Canadian receiver. Is the quarterback, number 10. Starts in the shadow of his goal line. The goal, hands off, fumble. The very first play is a fumble. And preliminary indications, it has been recovered by Acadia. I wonder if there's a little bit of jitters. John, Marco, a good athlete, but it's still, this is college ball as we take a look at the play here, perhaps. But he handed it up.
That was an outstanding job from Marco. Basically, Kyle Zerber got the ball, he didn't keep it tight, and Cal Morrison got his hands in there and knocked it free.
So Marco Picot ends up as a 1 yard. Second, 9. Under center. Picot throws. Carrillo completed. There goes the first down. Nice throw.
That it is, and that's what we always seen from the Acadia team for the last 10 years. They're throwing offense. They want to take those passes out in the flats, get as many yards as they can for receivers. Obviously, with a new quarterback this year, we're expecting to see a mix-up, but if they can feel confident in their quarterback, we're going to see a lot of that as the game goes on.
Well, that was a 7-yard pickup. Unfortunately, you need the necessary real estate of 10 to get the first down. So we have the first punt of the game for Matt Sharp. And Sharp from Victoria, British Columbia, and his second year getting ready to kick. And last year he led the conference, I believe, in punting, certainly for average. 8:55 left in the first quarter. If you've joined us, it is drizzling right here in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. You know, in past years, when I've seen Sonny Wolf go for it, this is not the right time. With 3rd and 3.
No, you definitely want to make sure you get the ball off, get it downfield, work as much as you can your special teams and like this.
Let's take a look at who's to return. Curtis Nash. Nice high kick. Nash on the right. And he starts to move. Gets the corner. Upfield. Nice return. Curtis Nash. Flag on the play. I would say no yards. Preliminary.
I would have to agree with that. No yards. Outstanding run by Curtis Nash there. There's a simple rule in football when you play special teams. You get downfield and you can take a guy. Force him to go up the middle where your team is. They didn't do that time. That got him outside. That made the return.
Well, the return puts St. Mary's. Let's see if we can get the communication here.
No yards. 2-3 on the kicking. Penalty is declined. Down.
We called it. Usually not hard. You see the flag come out when the guy catches the course. You need the mandatory 5-yard rule. And that can be blown under circumstances. Win is not factor here today in the rain game as Ryan Jones starts his second play. Jones, Perez, driving through. Pick up a 5 or 6 play. And Acadia got a very good front four, defensively anchored by Karen Kareem and Scott Burge. Burge veteran and Grant spent some time in CFL training this year. Second, let's call it 5-0. Ball up to 20. Perez again drives. First down. Touchdown. Louis Perez getting good offensive support. His line people.
Let's take a look at it right here. What do you see on top of your screen? That's Steve Morley pushing his man well to the outside of the back, and that made a huge hole. Louis Perez, all he had to do was pick up his feet and run downfield. He touchdown for Louis.
Steve, an offensive line, now in his 3rd year. Connor's up and good. From Domenico Bartolacci and St. Mary's make first relatively early. 7:55 less than the first quarter, and it is 7-0 for the Huskies. As we take a look, horse, Acadia getting to regroup. We'd simply look at pictures talking at this time. And what you see, if you see some drizzle, you're totally correct here. There have been some, this is nothing compared to what took place in Anish last year in the first regular season game. However, it's Canada, this is fall. And hopefully by the end of the game, we're still able to recognize most of these numbers. One thing about this field is in perfect condition. If we encourage John in November, very early on, it could have been a different story.
You're absolutely right on that one, Alex. I mean, one of the great things about playing in field is it is the finest grass surface east of Ontario. And that's one of the things guys like me out here because, well, it's not the same as the turf they used to back at home. They are going to get a natural surface that is clean.
Okay, I want to bring this up. Let's wait for the kickoff here by White. Okay, why is Domenico using such a short part of the field to kick the ball from? The kickers kick it from the center.
Nope, this
What's the line? Kicker, delay a game, 5 yards, penalty, like 5 yards, kick.
What's the purpose in going hash mark as opposed to the center?
The purpose of the hash mark in this case is St. Mary's University wants to pin the ACA returners in certain parts of the field. Right? We've seen them do 3 different kinds of kicks this year. One being squib kick up the middle, the other being a deep ball to the right, somewhere around the 10 or 15, and the other being that moonshot to the left side of the field.
Where's this one supposed to go?
This one here could go 2 places. One, it could go that deep right, where Chase is just kicking off a straight ball, or it can be coming across his body, going to the moonshot on far left-hand side of the field.
You don't want Romans to get, and it looks like he will. Jermaine Romo, what a tackle. Beautiful tackle on the play. St. Mary's, Jeff Moody, I believe, made on it. Saved perhaps 30 yards.
That is something St. Mary's wants to see throughout the game. Aggressive special teams. This is something that can, as Coach Wolf mentioned at the beginning of the game, be one of the big things. You got your offense, your defense, and you got special teams. Playing aggressive, going downfield, you're going to make kind of hits, you're going to put your team.
Let's take a look at here. Nice tackle. We'll get back to the situation. Caught. First down. 3rd yard line. Shot. 6 receivers. Close. Screen pass, little swing pass, intended for Zerber just after the previous play. Does the much when you kicked it to Romans or St. Mary's did, and he had the whole field. I think the Romans, I want to move in towards the sideline to go. Perhaps.
That's a good point. Now, when you do something like that, you want to put the ball towards the corner. That gets Bartok a little ball, but he kicked it right on. He gives going to his left or going to his right. We want going to the right. We're going to push the ball inside the numbers towards the sideline of the field.
Well, the numbers as they stand are 7 minutes and 9 seconds left. 7-0 for St. Mary's. The Acadia Axemen at home here, their opener. Raymond Field. Picot. Rolling. Running. And a good pickup. 6 yards. It is a good pickup on the play. However, you'll need 10.
And just watching Marco Picot on that play, he took a shot, and he is not comfortable at all. As soon as he got rid of the ball, he just rolled around sharp and grabbed his back. That's something you never want to see from your quarterback. And again, you don't want to see your quarterbacks running. While that is one of the things that Acadia is taking as an advantage in this, being able to run the ball with their quarterback, you never want to see a guy who you need taking a shot like that.
Well, right now taking the shot will be Matt Sharp. Good kick. Nash gets it, fumbles it, and down immediately.
And we're seeing the water again, the wet ball, the wet atmosphere. Receivers and returners throughout the day are going to have troubles getting their hands on that slippery ball, especially on punt, especially on kick, where it's coming down with such force.
So ball will be in play at the 40-yard line. A reminder, of course, the other game today is in Sackville. Mount Allison Mounties. Their home opener as we take a look at Ryan Jones. 1st and 10. Curry, one of the wideouts. In motion, Tebow, Jones throws, Curry receives, Romans tackles, they're down. Good pickup on the play, around 8 yards.
Received by number 81, Jason Curry.
One of the bevy of receivers.
Absolutely that. And Jay Curry, and questionable to start today's game. He's been out much of the week with the flu, so it's good to see him getting in there. Question is, at this time of the year, do you want to risk guys with illnesses?
Enough for 1st down. Perez met head-on by number 61 for the Acadia Axemen. Phillips, a big body, stopping that penetration. From Tilsonburg, Ontario, a defensive lineman. Of course, Tilsonburg, one of the locations made famous by a Stompin' Tom Connors song. My back still breaks when I hear that word. The tobacco fields of Tilsonburg.
5:32. Ryan Jones, 2nd and 5. Quick pass, incomplete.
And again, here we're seeing the wetness. Receivers who are coming to pick up the ball are stopping their motions, and they don't have footing anymore. Louis Perez on that ball went to turn for the ball, and his feet just kept going.
Well, it's also the first incomplete pass for Jones, who's was at 100% clip, according to my trusty statistician next to me here. So the first punt today for Domenico Bartolacci. Wow. Romans at the 10. Goes around, fumbles it. Good kick. Good pursuit. Good execution. The result in St. Mary's, pin Acadia inside their 10-yard line.
You know what, though, Alex? I think Trefton Bowlers is going to take the no yards call on that. Got downfield, got hands on Romans, got the ball loose, and that's what's causing the scrum we're seeing down in front of the end zone. But you know what? It's going to come back. You got to make sure you give him that 5 yards, give him the chance to get that ball.
Well, that's going to be an interesting call here. I think if you're going with Jermaine Romans, you take your 5 or 10-yard penalty as opposed to a large return, especially with an angled field coming across as he was in that direction. 5:09, as you can see on the score clock here. If you're just joining us, this is Eastlink Television, doing lots of Atlantic University sports. First in the priority in this new academic, scholastic, athletic season is football. We have plenty for you. My name is Alex J, along with Jonathan Chaters. Raymond Field in Wolfville.
First and 10 Acadia on the Axman 5-yard line.
Marco Picot back. His wideouts are starting their rush from the end zone. Kyle Zerba and Mike Black are the backfielders, and that's Black getting his first carry of the day. Mr. Black. Second year for Acadia. Basically no gain on that one. None whatsoever, 2nd and 10. And it is, it's interesting to take a look at Acadia, John. You mentioned it before. They've had so many good quarterbacks, throwing quarterbacks. Not that Marco, and this is his first game, certainly deserves some opportunity. But when you look at the Justanuses and the Martins and the Scatchards, and heck, I go back to Jamie Bowen and Bob Cameron. To have a team that you're worried more about the run than the pass, it just feels different.
It is. It's an anomaly for Acadia. This is a team that has, throughout the ages, wanted to throw the ball. And they've got great quarterbacks, and many of the league's throwing and receiving stats belong to Axman receivers. Now, unsure about their quarterback, they need to take the opportunity to see what they can do on the ground. And that's what we're seeing here today. The superback, Kyle Zerba, is going to have to be a big part of this offense throughout the year.
Well, we'll see if he does. Right now, going from left to right, we've got Carrillo, Griffin, Fortmans, Doty Phillips, Frame, and Noel at the front for Acadia. The rain is coming down.
Second and 10 Acadia from the Axman
Picot.
5-yard line.
Arruda chasing him. Marco throws. Incomplete. From our vantage point, I don't know if it went through his hands. Corey Allison, the intended receiver.
That was my perspective on it as well. It went right through his hands. The rain has just picked up big time. Now, before the referees were able to take the balls, keep them dry, by the time they set the ball back down on the ground, it's soaking wet again. And that is exactly what we see there. Up into the receiver's hands. He makes a valiant effort for it, but you just can't beat the water on a day like today.
Well, he got an opportunity. The closest St. Mary's Husky to him was Kyle Morrison. Mr. Sharp getting ready for his third punt of the day. Or does he take a safety? No, too early. Good kick. It bounces. Curtis Nash, 47, touches it. Still gets through. And finally wrestled down. by Karen Grant. Pickup of 5 yards on a ball that is squibbling through people's hands. Let's take a look at it on our replay here. Curtis takes it. Whoops. Where's that grease pig? Still good effort, and Karam says enough is enough. From the 43-yard line, St. Mary's, the Huskies. Third possession, Jones. Perez. Tackled on the play. Acadia got a performance from Karen Grant.
That was a big-time tackle. This is the kind of thing that the defense wants to see throughout the game. They've got to penetrate through the offensive line. Kareem Grant being on the end is going to be a big part of that throughout. Here we go. Luis Perez takes the handoff, and boom, Kareem Grant has his hands on his ankles before he takes his first step. That's a good defensive job.
Confined to 1 yard, second down. Perez and Hakeem in the back. Curry. Fleming, 3 receivers left. Jones looks, still has time. Stumbles. And hit behind the line of scrimmage. To be recorded perhaps on an official sack.
I think so, Alex, and you know what? That was an outstanding job again by Acadia. Get into the backfield, make a play. Unfortunately, it looks like there's a flag down on the field. That could be one of two things. A, it's a holding call against St. Mary's, or B, somebody did something they shouldn't have done.
Well, let's take a look at it. The indications from Ryan Jones is that it's going against Acadia. However, Mr. Jones, even though he's a 5th-year student, does not make the call. It is the officials, and we'll see in a minute.
See, there it is right there. That's penetration. Again, Kareem Grant was in the backfield, and again, he made things happen for that Acadia defense, forcing St. Mary's to go the quick 3 and out.
We'll see if the officials will give us an indication. Once in a while, John, it's just a dropped flag. And that's exactly what it was. Those things happen. Even the flags are slippery, John, on days like today. As we look at Kyle Zerbum on our screen. Bartolacci, nice kick again. This time. Acadia, Matt Green takes it up, and he is met. I heard that on the play.
St. Mary's right now is doing exactly what they wanted to do. They're coming in. They're not getting as much play as they want on their offense, but their defense is playing big, and their kicker is doing an outstanding job.
Well, take a look at it. We look at number 25. First of all, Green gets it inside. And I'll throw something to you in a second here. I don't know. Let's wait for the play. And I believe Carter Shields comes out there. Is Cartier? Carter or Cartier?
It's Cartier Shields, like the watch. Cartier.
Like in Jacques, the man who discovered Canada.
You're it. That's it exactly, right. Alex.
All right. I don't want to hear someone tell me the Vikings did that. I'm talking 1534. Jacques. Acadia. One of the toss plays.
Ball carried by number 34, Mike Black.
And Mike Black. Another Tilsonburg person. What did they do? Go to Tilsonburg and get everybody? It's just a very, very small area.
That it is, Alex.
In Oxford County, Ontario.
That's right, Alex. And you know what? It's the same adage that started here at St. Mary's with the Edmonton boys. One guy comes, then another guy comes, then another guy comes.
Yeah, but you're talking Tilsonburg. I mean, Edmonton and Tilsonburg, John, there's a heck of a difference. I mean, when I was in Woodstock, Ontario, Tilsonburg had one light in 1969. Edmonton a little bigger.
Not exactly in 1969 anymore.
Okay, they got 4 lights, Mr. Chaders. As Marco Picot on the roll. Throws. Out of bounds. He's not going to be easy to catch.
No, he's not. One of the big things about Marco Picot when he was a receiver is his speed. He moves downfield well, he cuts well. Great patterns, he's a great target to throw at. But as a quarterback, he can't just run downfield. He's got to run downfield and maintain the kind of balance it takes to throw the ball.
I am surprised that Sonny Wolf, maybe they'll do it now, does not take a knee, take a single in the end zone,
giving his team good possession at the 35. Every time Marco has had to start, it's been in the shadow of his goalpost. I'm surprised, knowing Sonny and his offensive tendencies, that hasn't happened. Perhaps this time, because you're going to give St. Mary's the ball at the 45-yard line. Take the knee.
In a career at 8,766 yards in 5 seasons with the Axemen.
And St. Mary's, David Stella. I suppose I'm asking Acadia to concede a safety and get better field position, but
No, Acadia never wants to give up a point. What they needed all day long was what they just got there from the kicker, Matt Sharp. They needed him to get the ball away and push it downfield. Up until this point, he's been putting them short, 35-yard, 30 balls. This one, he put at least 40, 45 in the air, and now Acadia's defense gets to work on the St. Mary's side of the field.
well, they don't have that much, but they do have some, as John Chater's mentioned. They are at the 52-yard line with 52 seconds left in the first quarter. 7-0 St. Mary's. Jones throws, and he's been hit on the play, or someone touched him.
There it is again. Kareem Grant comes off the end and went in almost unopposed. St. Mary's offensive line has got to start stepping up, or it's going to be a long, long day for the offensive backfield.
Now, rumors are not only in the National Enquirer, they're in the Sporting Light, as we take a look at this play here. And there's Mr. Grant. I heard that there were some teams that showed some interest in Kareem Grant from the National Football League. Can you confirm that?
He did get a little bit of interest as far as actually getting an opportunity to go down there. I don't believe he did. He did, however, take many reps in Canadian Football League teams.
Oh, look at this. The Acadia defense held convincingly.
Take a look at this, Alex. Ryan Jones tries to get a quick ball off. Luis Perez hands on it, but again, slippery ball, and a big hit from the backfield right there. Big key in football is you want to establish a presence physically, and the defense of Acadia Axemen are doing just that right now.
Well, they did on the last series of plays. Scott Verge got in, Kareem Grant got in. Matter of fact, Scott Verge almost got his hands on that ball. 14.9 seconds left in the first quarter. You're listening to Atlantic University Sport Football here on Eastlink Television, broadcasting this game from Raymond Field in Wolfville. Conditions inclement. It is no longer liquid sunshine. We have rain. My name is Alex J. Walling. I've got John Chaters with me. And of course, these two teams meet again next Friday, John, and I can't wait to do Friday night football.
Friday night football is always a treat, Alex. You know what? On the weekends, you don't always get some of the students coming home from late classes the night before, but you know what? If you're on campus anyway, you're going to the game. We're expecting a big crowd for that game. The top two teams in the Atlantic University Conference, and again, it'll be brought to you right here on Eastlink Television.
Also gives a chance for other people perhaps to spend the entire weekend watching football. You watch the Friday night game, and then you get an opportunity if you're a player to see the opposition.
Again, that is a bonus. Then again, if you're playing on the Saturday afternoon, you don't get that chance.
Bartolacci, another beautiful kick. Romans picks it up, turns right, moves to the sideline, pursued by Matt Demers. They've taken him back, and around perhaps a gain of 7 to 10 yards.
But again, we've got that flag on the field, and now it's becoming a discipline problem for St. Mary's. Everybody knows the rules. It's 5 yards. You've got to let him catch that ball. They're not doing that. They're paying the price.
Well, good question for you. Penalty is 10 yards. Would you not give up 10 yards to Jermaine Romans instead of 60, 70? In the last 2 games, he has returned punts for touchdowns. And at this stage of the field, what have you got to lose?
That's true. It is an interesting coaching call, but again, nobody likes to take a penalty. It's again, but you know what, on this one, we have a penalty against Acadia, illegal block on there.
That'll nullify any positive yardage. Last play of the game, or the quarter rather, if they get it off. Marco Picot
from the Axemen 10-yard line.
Zerba in the back. Picot option to Zerba. The ball, he gets it. And lucky on that. And it looks like it is the final play in the very first quarter here from Raymond Field.
Again, Alex, we're seeing the wetness becoming a big part of this game.
You know, there are a lot of people in Atlantic University sport earlier this week. Certainly one of the most thrilling ones to watch is Jermaine Romans. And I had an opportunity to ask him his thoughts on St. Mary's and on football in general. Jermaine? Television, what do you expect against St. Mary's? First of all, what was your reaction to the score last week?
Well, it was kind of brutal. I mean, 105-0. I figure, they would keep it down a little bit. I mean, after 70 or even 50, keep it down. But they're a good team, they're a good opponent, and maybe Mount just didn't have what it takes to, overcome that.
Look, if you and I went to Vegas, there's no doubt St. Mary's would be favored. But games are played on the field, not over. What do you have to do to beat them?
Well, we don't really think about it too much now. As long as we stick to our game plan, as we understand that they're a good team, and we're a good team too. We believe that, and we'll put up a good fight, what I mean, and so will they. And the best team, I guess, will end up on top,
What are your goals for this year, Jermaine? You had a crack at pro ball, probably try again next year. What are your own personal accomplishments that you want for this year?
Well, just to maintain and see if I can do what I did last year and probably a little bit more. But, just to come back and just for the competition, though, football is a good game. It's a fun game. Learned a lot from it, and hopefully I can pursue other things, after this.
You're an All-Canadian. You've had a pretty good career as you go into your last year here. Tell me about how you love returning kickoffs and punts.
Oh, man, it's the beautiful thing of the game, baby. Come on now. Just getting the ball and reaching the next end, you know what I mean? But it's a whole team effort thing, you know what I mean? Everybody does a job, just like offense and defense. If everybody does their job, blocking right, you know what I mean? You have to get the right staff on the team, on the field. So it's easy once when everybody does it, what they're supposed to do. One man don't do it, you know what I mean?
And there you have the thoughts of Jermaine Romans. We've seen one incomplete pass on second down. And so Mr. Sharp, I believe, is making kicking appearance number 4 from his end zone. And there we go. We'll give up the points.
I don't think that was his intention on that one, Alex. It looked like he didn't get control of the ball and said, I'm not going to pick up the ball and make a bad kick. Let's just give up the 2 points and put St. Mary's down the field. Throughout this game, kicking has been a big part of it. Both teams basically going 3 and out on several plays in the last series. Because of this, Dominic Bartocolucci has had the opportunity to stand out for St. Mary's, while Matt Sharp, kicking well, has not been kicking very far down the field.
Well, it's also, makes a difference. Poor Mr. Sharp has been getting opportunities to kick like a 10-yard line, goal. You're really asking an awful lot for a kicker in these conditions to put you back 40 or 50 yards.
That's true, Alex, but again, he's doing the same thing from the goal line that Dominic Bartocolucci is doing from midfield. So basically, they're just kicking the ball back and forth. Dom is probably putting the ball about 5 yards further downfield than Matt Sharp is, meaning St. Mary's gets the ball a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer as the series continues.
So you're scoring that, it's a safety, and therefore, what we call in the game a free kick will be done by Acadia, with Curtis Nash and Les Mullings to receive. 9-0 is your score. There's the kick. Nash, 25, 30. To the side, hit by the first man down. A lot of them down there. Number 20.
That's an outstanding job again by Acadia. You never know what's going to happen on a special teams play. You get downfield, you get your head down, you take a piece out of that returner, and you see if you can get that ball. Here it is on the return. Curtis Nash picks up the ball nice and clean, starts moving upfield, cuts a little bit over to his right, and what does he come into? A wall of red.
Nice play. Preliminary tackler, number 29, Danny Custard. Mullings
3 or 4 yards. I find it interesting that you're one of the backup quarterbacks, Danny Custer, is being used on special teams. So people want to get into the game here in collegiate football. They certainly have an opportunity.
Absolutely. Regardless of the position you play, if you can get on special teams, you can get that dress spot, and you have a chance of playing in the game because you're in uniform.
2nd down and 6. Ryan Jones for St. Mary's. Jay Curry to the near side as Jones gets ready to throw. Being pursued on the play, and he is hit just as he throws.
Wow, look at that pressure again. The Acadia defense is stepping up big time today. The offensive line is going to get an earful at half if they keep playing like this. They've got to protect their quarterback. They've got to give him time to get the ball off. Here it is. Boom. Big hit from behind him, and that just puts the ball in anyone's hands.
That was one hit by the back.
Again, we're seeing it. 3 and out, and now the kickers have to step up and push the ball downfield. Win the battle of attrition, and it starts right now.
Domenico, decent punt again. Jermaine Romans fumbles. Let's wait for the call. Flag on the play. Is it no yards?
I think it's no yards. St. Mary's did recover on the fumble, but the problem is Trefton Bowlers was inside that radius. While they did get the ball, they're going to have to give it back.
Let's take a look at it here. Matt Green, Romans, Bowlers. Interesting call. I don't want to make it from here. Is it 4, 4.5 yards, 5 yards, 1 inch? And I see the Husky defense come on, which means that it must have been the violation. We should, there we take a look at the call. The official points it out, 1st down. That looked more than a 10-yard penalty to me. Twelve minutes and 56 seconds as we watch some of the coaching staff. Marco Picot getting his best start of the day, 52-yard line. Acadia, one back. He gets the ball. And Kyle Zerba is met by a bunch of Huskies.
You know, Alex, we're seeing the same thing on both sides of the ball. Offensive linemen today are not making holes. They've got to give places for their running backs to go through. And when Kyle Zerba came up to that wall, he was met by a wall of people. Dougie Borden, Kyle Morrison, Matthew Demers were all in that fray.
Well, Jeff Moody made the preliminary tackle right there, certainly filled up the hole or the gap, as we say. And if you've joined us here, it is raining in Wolfville. Both teams winners last week, 18-8, Acadia against Santa Fe. St. Mary's had a slightly higher score against Mount Allison. Some good news in the Mount Allison events this week. Gordon Grace basically acting as general manager, and I understand he's already recruited several players for today's game. 9-0, the Huskies. Picot in the shotgun. 2nd and 9. Carollo one side, Cockett the other. Marco rolls, throws, caught by Zerba. He's going to be around a yard short. It'll be around 3rd and 1 from the Husky 46, 47-yard line. Kyle Zerba got that one. First reception for Zerba coming out of the backfield.
Interesting to note as well, Alex, this is the first time the Acadia offense has gotten in to the St. Mary's side of the field. And it looks like they're going to try and take advantage of that and move the ball on 3rd down.
Let's take a look at it. 3rd down, first test for the Axemen, 3rd and 1. 8 in the box for St. Mary's. Peacock gets through. Going forward. 30. He's going to go. Marco Picot. Any flags? There is a flag.
Looks like a holding call, Alex. They're going to have to bring that back.
And it is coming back. It was a nice run, nice play. There's one advantage of having a guy that can run on a quarterback sneak.
You're absolutely right there, Alex. I mean, the Acadia line did a great job of boxing the St. Mary's guys in. Unfortunately, one of them grabbed a hold of that sweater somewhere along the line. Can't do that. You've got to keep it an open hand.
Well, what I saw, and I don't know if we have a replay here, is that St. Mary's initially contained Picott, and I think he squiggled out to the left.
That he did. He went into the line, and all of the St. Mary's defenders went down into what is called a cut block. They were all very low to the field. We'll see it right here.
Right there,
everybody is down. They've stopped him, but the problem is nobody's standing on their feet, and all he has to do is sidestep around them. And he's gone for the touchdown, which is now called back.
Philip Robert's having a shot at it. Josh Labucki making a tackle, just missing.
I tell you, Alex, there aren't too many guys in the league who are going to win a track meet with Marco Picott. He showed it that right there. Josh Labucki is an outstanding speed.
Well, they gave him the first down. So he gets the first down, and they brought it back to some degree. Acadia, Zerba. Good game, back to back.
Absolutely. The Acadia offense is starting to roll. They're starting to get their rhythm, and that's something that Mount Allison wasn't able to do against this Husky defense. Now that Acadia is starting to get the roll, they're starting to move downfield. They can make a very, very interesting game out of this.
As we look at Zerba here, who's going to move it to the your right-hand side. But the interesting thing, therefore, in the previous play, the penalty had to come after Picott picked up the first down, or else they would have brought it back.
That's right.
And now somebody said or did something. We'll look for the call. It looks like a 15 or 25-yarder. That's only, those are major penalties.
That's a big deal penalty. That means somebody did something unsportsmanlike, somebody said something, somebody took a cheap shot somewhere along the line. You've got to play to the very peak of your emotions and no higher.
So Acadia getting the ball over center field. Now at St. Mary's 16, trailing by 9. Ball in to Zerba, who moves, who breaks, who goes all the way inside the 10-yard line, maybe more. However, we have a flag on the play. Let's take a look at it. Look for the indication from the officials. And I think the crowd may have given you the indication as we look at Kyle Zerba getting by Dennis Arruda. And even more, he doesn't seem to be that big, but year in and year out, he crunches the yards.
Offside against Acadia.
So that's going to make it first down and 15 yards. Somebody offside. Yeah, in the NFL, they tell you the number, but I don't think they do so in college. 10 minutes, 10 seconds left in the first half. 9-0. Good, close game. Weather conditions, raining, making it hard for both teams to pass. Picott is 2 out of 6 in passing so far as he throws. Make that 3 out of 7. Looks like it's to Corey Allison, who's very close to a first down.
That he is, Alex. He picked up a good 10 yards on that play. Again, we're going back to Acadia starting to feel comfortable with their throw. They're letting Picott move the ball in the air, traditional Acadia offense, and that is going to be a very good weapon for them.
Corey Allison from Moncton, New Brunswick, has been around here a while. As a matter of fact, he's one of the seniors this year, one of the guys that's leaving. Number 72. Matter of fact, he played a good role in the last time St. Mary's lost a football game, which was 2 years on the opening game at Acadia, 21-18. Second down and 3. Picott, only one back, a la Barry Sanders in the old days. And the back gets it, and he's met head-on by St. Mary's, who nullified any progress.
Ball carried by number 5, Kyle Zerba.
All right, if you're a coach, what do you want to do? To go for the field goal, perhaps a sure 3 points? Or do you try for a touchdown, which perhaps emotionally can give you a lift? And if you don't get it, you've got St. Mary's pinned way back. So do you take the points, Mr. Chaters, or do you go for it?
There's a lot of football left in this game. Right now, I want to do something to give my team a lift. I want to try and take those 7 points right now.
Well, let me introduce you to Sonny Wolf. Sonny always goes for it. John, I didn't mean to set you up like this. All right, Sonny always goes for it. That's one thing you learn from the broadcast booth, John. Sonny always goes for it.
Right on.
All right.
And he's doing it again.
And he's doing it there. 3rd and 4, and he might have been able to draw somebody off. We'll see.
The question becomes, who moved first? Was it a lineman or was it a defender?
Okay, now you...
Procedure on the offense, and that's a discipline problem right up the front. You've got to make sure you remember what the snap count is on the play. Stay in the huddle, make sure you hear what the quarterback's saying. Is he going on 1? Is he going on 2?
So 3rd and 4, Sonny goes for it, not on 3rd and 9. So they got a chance to put some points on the board. They're not in yet. It's not a fait accompli.
Kicker's on the field for this one now.
Well, the ball must be held, and Brunico must hold it well. It's got to be snapped properly. It's got to be kicked, put through the uprights. As the ex said in the 64 version of the song, it is easier said than done. And it's blocked. It is blocked.
You know, I think if we look at that replay, Alex, we'll see Trefton Bowlers again in on that play. Every day there's been every special teams play we've seen to date, he's been in on one of those tackles. That's an outstanding job.
Let's take a look at it. The hold is there, and the first person in looks like Kyle Morrison.
Kyle Morrison is in there, that's right.
Put his hands on it. The points do not come easy. So the Huskies with 8:07. One major score so far, 8:07 in the half. Ryan Jones. The field is spread wide. One back. Perez gets the ball. Moves up, drives for around a pickup of 6 or 7 yards. And Bertram, number 44 on the play. The initial tackle. Second down. Jones, Perez, met at the line of scrimmage. That's going to be close. And a flag goes.
There is a flag on the play.
The flag is put forth by the official 25 yards away. I'd like to hear or see what the indication is.
So would I, Alex. I mean, what we saw there was an outstanding play. Dwayne Hoffman out of Brampton, Ontario came up and he put the hurt on Louis Perez. Stopped him cold at the line of scrimmage. The flag came a good few minutes late.
And you said Dwayne Hoffman. Big boy. Very big boy. 4th year defensive lineman. And I'm not sure if you can, on television, I think you can perhaps listen to the rhythm of the falling rain. It is coming down. You're watching college football on Eastlink television. We're next Friday night. We'll be broadcasting the same 2 teams, different venue and location from St. Mary's Husky Stadium. For the Friday night football game, the first one. The only one this year on Eastlink. And if you like college sports, and a lot of people do, there are several doubleheaders. Bill Kiley and the crew in Antigonish. John Chaters and I are doing some games. We do the Husky games and some of the Acadia games. Could have used some of this rain for blueberries, different produce here this summer.
St. Mary's from the Huskies 16.
Ryan Jones did get the first down. Perez, this time again, right on the play. Basically no gain whatsoever. Acadia are doing a good job in stymieing the run.
That they are. Again, what do? You look for key things that are going to affect the team. Obviously, they know the rain is a big factor for the St. Mary's offense. So what do? You bring as many guys up to the line into what they call the box and try and keep the linemen from pushing you around. As long as you can stay one-on-one with the linemen, you're going to get a good shot of stopping the running back as he tries to break through.
Well, there you have Colin Aldereve, Salmus, Ferguson, the big boys, the horses for the Huskies, protecting Ryan Jones in the shotgun. Jones looks for Stella. Intercepted. Intercepted by Matt Green.
Anybody who's ever played defense in this country has played a simple drill. It's called the tip drill. You run down the field, you push the ball up in the air, and you let the guy behind you try and get his hands on it. And that's exactly what happened there. Dave Stella from the Huskies went up, got a hold of the ball, but the ball slippery. It went right through his hands into the waiting hands of Matt Green, 5 yards behind him.
So Ryan Jones, who started off very well, has had the last 4 or 5 incomplete. Jones is 4 for 9. At one point, he was 4 for 4, so the last 5 have fallen or have not been received by their appropriate targets. So Marco Picot came close the first time, starts from the 40-yard line. He's in the shotgun. 5 wideouts. 1 back, Picot to the left. That's a running play he's got. And he's got the first down.
Again, that's the threat when you move a receiver into the quarterback position. That wasn't meant to be a quarterback draw. Basically what happened, St. Mary's broke through the line. 4 or 5 guys got up there, got into Picot's line of vision, and he just took off through the one little hole he found. Take a look at it right here. He catches the ball. He's looking downfield to find a receiver. What does he see? 3, 4, 5 St. Mary's jerseys in his way. So he's off to the races. Joe Bonaventura gets a hand on him, but a hand is never enough. And he gets taken down beyond the first down marker.
Good gain. Acadia, their best location at the 30. They'll not get much further, perhaps the 28-yard line. We keep calling Picot a receiver, but in fairness to him, he's also lined up as a running back a lot of times over his career. And that career for Marco started 4 years ago. Marco Picot from Granby, Quebec. He used to have a baseball team up there, a semi-pro team. And they were very good. Granby, Plessyville, Drummondville, Victoriaville, Alma, Quaticook, all the area. Picot pursued, runs, and Dougie Borden puts the grabs on him. I think Lyman missed him first, Eric did, and then Dougie Borden got him. So it's going to be 3rd down, a lot to go, and I think we see an attempted field goal. 4:38 left in the first half. Fairly entertaining ball game.
That it has been. There was a simple guess when we're looking at this game. Are you going to see a blowout type thing like we saw last week, or are we going to see a game where 2 teams come down and finish every single play? That's what we've seen here. The offensive linemen, there's a game within the game here, and that's on the line, in the trenches. As long as that stays, as long as both teams execute very well, we're going to see an outstanding, excellent football game.
And I hear you've got a guest at halftime, Mr. Jewers from the Daily News.
That I do. One of the premier writers in the Atlantic region. We're going to have a talk with him, see what we can get, his thoughts on the Mount A situation.
Look at this one. Will he try and take it out? Oh, that's going to be close. If he gets out on the 1-yard line, it goes to the 20.
I don't know that he did. We're watching where the referee is, and I can't tell from this angle, Alex.
Wide, ball carried by number 12.
I think he did.
Curtis Nash.
If not, it's 1 point. And if he gets it out, he takes it to the 20. And that's what he did. What a nice play by Curtis Nash.
That's an outstanding job. Curtis Nash is one of the most aggressive runners. What did we see right there? As soon as he realized he was running out of real estate, he dove to get that ball out of the end zone. Excellent job.
That is the rule in college football that you don't have in the CFL. In the CFL, the ball would be down at the 1-foot line. If you can get the ball out, even if it's 1 inch, you get the ball at the 20 and there are no points. That's to encourage runbacks. The pros, you'd have, well, in the pros, I think they'd concede the single point if it was in Canada. Jones looks, throws, completes to Paul Fleming. And that is Fleming's first catch this afternoon. It's also Jones's first reception or completion in the last 6 attempts.
Let's take a look at it here, Alex. What do we see? Ryan Jones take the ball right over the middle of the field. All Paul Fleming had to do was turn around and hold on to the ball. Once he caught it, try and move downfield a little bit. Right on the numbers. That's what you like to see from your starting quarterback early in the year.
Well, Morley and Ferguson on that side of the line, the entire line gave him time to throw. This time, can they open some holes for Luis Perez? Perhaps a gain of 3.
That was me.
Ball carried by number 34, Luis Perez.
3:24 left in the first half, 9-0. There's one of our fine crew people. Who else would be down on the sidelines in the pouring rain if you're not part of the minor officials or the players? You're part of the Eastlink television broadcast. On Eastlink television doing college football. Of course, hello to our people in the PEI and across most of the Maritimes catching this broadcast. Watching Ryan Jones operate under center. Shotgun this time, he throws, incomplete.
Pass is incomplete.
And so the Axemen hold with 3:05.
Here on Saturday and the UCCB papers on Sunday. Game times are 1 and 3 o'clock each day next weekend.
So Jones is going at 50%, which under these conditions is not that bad whatsoever.
Opportunity to kick for $200. Also to be listed 25-yard
5 for 10 is Domenico Bartolacci.
field goal. If completed, they take home $200.
High to the corner. There will be no return. Again, a college football rule. Your knee hits that ground, that play is dead.
On October 6th with St. Francis Xavier.
As we look at Pat Tebow and Paul Fleming perhaps discussing strategy. Ball hits the ground, you recover it, your knee hits it, what's it?
That's a smart play by Matt Green right there. He didn't get control of the ball on the thing. Rather than try and pick it up and run with it, maybe not have good control over it, just fall down, take the ball where it is, make sure you keep possession.
Townsend Ramsey, backfielder today, saw the tape last week from St. FX. Fairly effective in the times that he did get an opportunity to run. That opportunity may come like right now. It does. Ball squirts out. Ball is called dead. Ramsey is contained to 2 or 3 yards. Substitution for St. Mary's. Cartier Shields goes in for Joe Bonaventura. Shields last year played lots of offense. This year, special teams, some defense. Quite a diversified athlete.
That he is. He's another one of these Trefton Boulders kind of guys who you can feel comfortable putting any spot on the field.
Well, right now he's playing basically what I call rover or free safety. Right in the middle. Curtis Nash, a route on one side. Marco Picot hands it off. Stopped by the Huskies. And St. Mary's getting good penetration. Morrison and Gordon and Nelson. Jeff Moody. Mentioned his name several times today. There's Dougie Borden, and I believe in that pile in there is Kyle Morrison. Look at this. Yeah, it's got the Halloween colors here.
There's nothing quite like rookie initiation week, and I bet you any money that's the Axemen hockey team.
Hold, that ball is live. Well, we're going to look at this one after. This is strictly a product of the environment today. A little bit of rain, a little bit of slipperage. Remind me of football, live ball. When in doubt, kick. And when in doubt, punt. Defensive player Bonaventura getting a chance to actually touch the ball. And St. Mary's got a good break here with 1:36 in the halftime. A good opportunity to put more points on the board. They haven't put money. Ryan Jones, there's a flag. There's Grant. There's the play. And the ball is juggled by Jay Curry. So another attempted pass by Ryan Jones. This one, if we'll see if we have a replay or not, but whether that's thrown behind him or whether that's just simply dropped.
That's a good ball. We're seeing water again come into the situation. The balls that were nice and dry at the beginning of the game, they can't dry off anymore now. So basically what's happening is the ball's coming in, receivers, Ryan Jones is making good plays, Marco Picard is making good throws, the receivers are getting their hands on the balls, but unfortunately, unless acted upon by force, it ain't gonna move.
Just saw a picture there of Kirk Griffin from Uxbridge, Ontario, one of the offensive linemen, getting a small breather as Ryan Jones, second down. Looks left, throws, Fleming, he had it. Incomplete. Derek Smith. One of the guys at it. Covering for Acadia on the play. That was a nice thrown ball, rain and all.
That it was. You can't ask for anything more from your quarterback. Put the ball up, put it in their hands, and let's see him get control of it at the receiving end.
He put it up. Doesn't show from that viewpoint, but
that was right in his gut. Ball came right into him. He got his hands on it, and again, you can't beat the weather in a situation like this.
Well, let's see what the weather can do. It affected one field goal attempt already. It was blocked. This one, Bartolacci is aiming it from around the 41-yard line. Now, usually Fleming is the holder, and there he comes out. As we look at some of the initiation here, procedures going on at Acadia. Paul Fleming, the holder. Bartolacci, the kicker. Will it be a fake? No, sir. Bartolacci hits it. It is wide. It is fumbled. Will he get it out? I don't think he does. Let's take a look at it. If he doesn't, it's a point.
And the ref calls for that point. He didn't get out of the end zone on that one. Simple rule, you got to catch the ball. Here he does. It's in his hands. He didn't get his hands on it. That went right through his hands, into his body, and down on the ground.
That is Matt Green, and he is lucky that he didn't turn over a touchdown. As it stands, score that as a single. And it is 10-0. We've had one touchdown early in the, matter of fact, on the very first drive. Luis Perez. Then there was Matt Sharp conceded a safety. A single off a field goal attempt. And it is 10-0 with 1 minute and 15 seconds as we take a look at Marco Picard. An amazing story of this kid who basically has a hard time hearing. And as a receiver was able to communicate using sign language. Now he can read the lips perfectly, without a doubt. But quite a story. He did when he came to Acadia 4 years ago. He couldn't speak English, and he couldn't hear. All right, so quite a testament of perseverance. They can hear him, and he speaks relatively well, but he has to be able to certainly read your lips. Well, right now he certainly can read the scoreboard, and with 1 minute and 15 seconds, we're looking at a 10-0 ball game with Marco Picard. As the rain is letting up, Picard looking, moving, still has it, and throws it out of bounds. Zerbo looked as if he was an intended receiver. So is Dan Carrillo, who is patting Joe Bonaventura here. I think if I'm Sonny Wolf, I'm almost tempted to
not commit any mistakes, and nothing wrong going into halftime, allowing only one touchdown on an opening drive against St. Mary's University.
You're absolutely right there. This is a very big positive for this team. Again, anytime you play a team that's coming off a score like St. Mary's did last week, the most lopsided score in the history of CIS, all you can do is try and remember your fundamentals, your basics, get through there, do your job, not worry about that. Remember, it's a new game and a new team.
Well, let's take a look at who's doing whose job. Marco Picato's doing his job. Picks up a first down. So Acadia might be able to extend this quarter on offense. A long way to go, but they have the ball, certainly denying St. Mary's. Talking about a big score last week, I heard from a gentleman by the name of Wayne Anstey. As we take a look at Marco's run here, I'll look for the pass first. I can't get anybody. Nelson is being blocked. Why not run? As Matt Demers. Bonaventura. And finally, somebody comes up to meet him. Marco Picat hands it off. No gain. How about -5 or 6? But John, I heard from Wayne Anstey, who tells me that there was a high school game between QEH and somebody, and QEH won many years ago by a score of 120-0. And last week when you and I were doing the contest, and I said, I've never seen anything this much. And there was a previous game in the Don Loney era where St. FX beat Dalhousie 105-20. So St. Mary's tied the record for production in the Atlantic Conference of points. They tied with St. FX.
That they have, but by the basis of the 14 score, St. Mary's has the most lopsided score in history.
Oh yes, they have the biggest margin. All right, they have the biggest margin. As we look at Sonny Wolf, I think a lot of people will tell you that it's been an interesting week in Atlantic University sport football, and I feel sorry for Robert Kitchen. Certainly wish Peter Comeau the best of luck as an interim coach. Gordon Grace has been brought back into general managership capacity. On 2nd and 10, Picat, 4 receivers to one side, to our side, and they throw the ball the other way. And no more advancement once the 2 or 3 yards. So good play. The deception doesn't work.
And Alex, we got flags in the backfield. Kyle Morrison and Eric Lyman both took shots after the ball was received on quarterback Marco Picat. So it looks like the ball is going to be moved downfield. The question is how much. It is a first down now. Let's take an opportunity to talk about next week's game, where we'll be at Husky Stadium, bringing you again these same 2 teams, the St. Mary's Huskies against the Acadia Axemen on Friday Night Football. Hope to see you at 5:50 p.m.
And, somebody's saying, wait a minute, Friday night? Yes, the AUS has a Friday night game, which is a good way to try things. So every game gets an opportunity to have a highlight in it. Saturday, of course. So Friday and Saturday next week, and we're around on Friday, and we're around right now with 26.4 seconds. If you want to be meticulous, Picat, rolling, throwing, receiving, and it's incomplete. Judging the reception to be out of bounds. There, look at it for yourself. Doesn't take much. You need at least one feet in bounds with control of the ball, and Corey Allison, in the judgment of the officials, did not have that. Ball is on the 46-yard line. It is 2nd down, 10 yards to go. We're in the 2nd quarter. The score is 10-0 for St. Mary's. Picat being chased, throws. And Andrew Cockett is around 20 yards away, and I think that Roberge and Curtis Nash were closer to the ball than any designated Acadia receiver. Well, I think overall, bearing in mind as we take a look at perhaps he was just throwing it away, but judging what happened, and I think a lot of people were saying that the score could be 25 or 35-0 at halftime, only giving up one touchdown. Not a bad performance for Acadia.
You're absolutely right there. The difference between Acadia playing this week and Maunay playing last week is execution on the ball. Acadia has not done much to turn over the ball. Obviously, they got the field goal blocked, but they've executed real well.
Now, in fairness to St. Mary's, the weather, the conditions certainly haven't helped them. Ryan Jones put a couple of good, nice catch by Curtis Nash here. While they're able to confine Curtis to 5 or 6 yards, but say in fairness to Ryan Jones, some of the balls have been dropped, so perhaps that is one of the factors in keeping the score down.
Yeah, but absolutely, this is a factor that the Acadia Axemen are playing with as well. I mean, both teams got to play in the same weather on the same day.
All right, we're going to let John Chaters take off and get ready at halftime to talk to one of our guests. We've only got, well, under a second left. And under 1 second it is. 0.9. Time for one last play, barring some form of penalty. The Acadia Axemen, their home opener here. And we're broadcasting this game from press row upstairs. Our thanks to the Acadia University Athletic Department for certainly arranging the proper facilities. Aided, of course, by our statistician. People on the field. Ladies and gentlemen behind the scenes who certainly work on this program. Do you take a knee? No, you don't. You aim, you throw, you get picked off by Dennis Arruda, you get hauled down, and you say goodbye to the first half with the score 10-0 for St. Mary's. As we watch Mike Brunnicholm and the Acadia Axemen lead, you're listening to Football on Eastlink Television.
Welcome to My Kitchen, only on Eastlink Television, right here at home. The Maritime's only phone-in sports show, Harv Sportsland on Eastlink Television, right here at home.
Body Breaks with Hal Johnson and Joanne McLeod.
Oh, yeah. I don't mind weeding, and I'm glad because I have a feeling Hal would only procrastinate. No, I know he would procrastinate about this. Weeding for me gives me time to look what I've done and plan for next season. So often, we think that in order for a garden to look good, it has to be done by professionals. However, you should be more confident with your own ability and check out the resources available to help you out. I found what helped us was driving through other neighborhoods to get ideas, going to the library, and flipping through magazines. A computer program can also come in handy, whereby you scan in your pictures of your house, place various bushes, trees, and plants where you think you might like them. Then right before your eyes, you see what it'll all look like before picking up a shovel. And of course, the old-fashioned way of jotting down your ideas on paper continues to work well. To also reduce your costs, buy trees direct from tree farms, purchase soil in bulk, look for sales on flowers and garden accessories, and plant perennials instead of annuals. Now the fun begins, and you're able to see your vision come to life and save money at the same time.
Well, until next time, keep fit and have fun.
Body break! Body break!
Hi, I'm a member of the War Amps Child Amputee Program. Donations for key tags go a long way to meet the needs of child amputees, like helping to pay for their artificial limbs, including specially designed ones for recreational activities. Through Jumpstart, children with multiple amputations get an early start on the future with computers and training. All this and more is made possible through donations to the Key Tag service. If you've been a supporter of the War Amps, you'll recognize these. Personalized key tags that are mailed to your home once a year. Key tags aren't just for car keys. They can be used on any keys you wish to protect. There's a comfort factor in attaching this to your keys. If you lose your keys, the person who finds them can call the War Amps at this toll-free number. A bonded courier will pick up your keys at the finder's home and return them to you immediately. Or the finder can drop your keys into any mailbox and the War Amps will return them to you by courier. Either way, the War Amps Key Return by Courier ensures swift delivery of your lost keys. The War Amps also provides personalized address labels, another valuable service. And what about the future? JAMP graduates will carry on the tradition of amputees helping amputees. The War Amps, meeting the needs of child amputees, thanks to your support of the Key Tag service.
Justin's having a seizure. He can choke. We need to stay calm. We need to turn him on his side. Here, I'll hold on to his leg. No, it can't be stopped. Quick, get me something soft to put under his head. Here, use this. We need to time and see how long the seizure lasts. If the seizure lasts more than 5 minutes or he has 2 in a row, we need to call an ambulance. Here, put this in his mouth. No, never put anything in anyone's mouth during a seizure. I think it's over. It's okay. You've just had a seizure. I know you're feeling tired, so let's just rest until you feel like you're ready to go home.
Secrets of Seeing, only on Eastlink television, right here at home. Atlantic University Sport Football, each week on Eastlink television, right here at home.
Al Johnson and Joanne McLeod.
These trees have been around for hundreds of years, and they keep growing and thriving because of the nutrients in the soil, the air that they breathe, and the environment that's as stress-free as possible. To some degree, what it takes a tree to live a long, healthy life is what humans need. What you eat should come from the 4 food groups so that you get all the vitamins and minerals you need to ward off sickness. The oxygen you breathe helps to keep your muscles moving, and when they move, they stay strong, they burn calories and fat, and you get to experience so much more than sitting on the couch. I heard a saying a long time ago, if you rest, you rust. Well, that's appropriate when you consider that your body was built to move. To live in a stress-free environment would be a luxury, but it's unrealistic. However, if you find ways to reduce the negative stress in your life, you can focus in on the positive and be a lot happier. Getting involved, interacting with others, and having a positive mindset will also help you have a full, long, healthy life. So the next time you see a tree, remember you need what a tree needs. Nutritious food, oxygen, and an environment as stress-free as possible.
Body Break.
The future is now with Teroscope, each week on Eastlink Television, right here at home. The best movies are on Viewer's Choice. Check them out on the Movie Loft, only on Eastlink Television, right here at home.
Like many other women, I'm trying to get as much information as possible, especially about the symptoms of menopause and ways to deal with them. I want to know about hormone replacement therapy, but also about alternatives like herbal remedies and vitamins and what they can do for me.
There are a variety of products from which women can choose their treatment for their menopausal and perimenopausal symptoms. These include herbal preparations. It's important to remember, however, that these have not all been proven safe and effective. But here are a few that you can choose from. For hot flashes, clonidine, belladonna alkaloids, and black cohosh, which also works to improve mood. Some women also find acupuncture and acupressure to be helpful. For depression, St. John's wort, ginkgo biloba for treatment of memory loss, and valerian for short-term treatment of sleep disturbances. Phytoestrogens from soybean and linseed products like tofu, tempeh, miso, and soya milk are effective against hot flashes and vaginal dryness. Symptoms from hot flashes to vaginal dryness can all be safely and effectively controlled with short-term use of hormone replacement therapy of less than 5 years. But no matter what options you choose, the most important thing is to have a healthy lifestyle. That means regular exercise, a balanced diet, get enough sleep, alcohol only in moderation, and please don't smoke.
For more information about perimenopause and related health issues, speak to your gynecologist or your family doctor, or visit our website, sogc.org. This is a public service announcement from the Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists of Canada.
Everybody, John Chaders here at again a rain-soaked Raymond Field, Wolfville, Nova Scotia, home of the Acadia Axemen. The gentleman to my left is Jody Dewars, columnist for the Daily News. And Jody, what a week we've had in Atlantic University sport. Obviously stemming last week from Blake Nill and his comments after the game. Many changes have occurred at Mount Allison. What do you think?
Well, it's been a very active week. Been plenty to write about from a newspaper standpoint. I mean, St. Mary's, as you know, it's been. How do you penalize a guy like Blake Neal for saying something that was basically right? I mean, it might have rubbed some people the wrong way, but hopefully it spurred people at Mount Allison to try and get their program back to where it was just maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
That's, again, one of the big things that has been talked about throughout the week is the program itself at Mount Allison. Throughout the week, talks are obviously the resignation of Coach Mike Kitchen and the appointment of Kumo to their new coaching position. Where do you see them traveling throughout the rest of the season?
Well, the rest of this year is going to be tough. I mean, I don't know how they're faring against St. FX today, but St. FX is probably the best matchup for Mount Allison. I mean, Acadia's proven that Mount A is no match for them, and certainly St. Mary's proved that last week. So Mount A has a long road ahead. It's not going to be just 1 year. It's going to be years down the road where they can hopefully recruit better players to make an impact with their team, because that's where it all starts. Recruiting is more than half the battle, given the new recruiting rules that are imposed by Canadian inter-university sport. And if Mount Allison doesn't improve on its recruiting, their program will be in the same situation they are now for years to come.
Right on, Jody. Let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing out here today. Obviously, the Acadia Axemen are a program that has always been a passing game. Today we're seeing them work the run a little bit more, obviously with the quarterback Marco Picot. Where do you see them going from that?
Well, conditions have dictated a lot of the play so far today. I mean, it's only 10-0. It's been just pouring rain here, as our viewers can attest to, and it's meant a lot of difficulty on both sides of the football trying to get something going offensively. But Acadia's got a very good ball club. They've got a very good defense. The defense has played extremely well for Acadia so far in this football game. And Marco Picot is starting to adapt. You could see that this was his first game against a first regular season game. He played part of one exhibition game. But you know, he's starting to get into a better flow, and he's a great scrambler. And he can do a lot of good things for them back there. So it's just a matter of timing and sheer repetition on his part. He's a great natural athlete, and only good things can come from that.
Right on. Let's talk a little bit about where we see. Obviously, many people have taken St. Mary's Huskies as the eventual finisher. Where do you see the second place race going?
Well, it's between Acadia and X. Acadia was very close. That game was very close in Antigonish. The next game which down here at Raymond Field will tell quite a bit of the story as far as who's going to finish second.
Right on. Thanks a lot, Jody, and we'll head back upstairs to Alex.
Okay, thanks, John. And first of all, thank you very much, John, for, want to thank John Chaders for basically getting soaked. Thanks to Jody Jewers with the Daily News. I've got Monty Mosier. You can hear Monty, and you can read about him and his work at the Chronicle Herald. Monty, your thoughts on the game and weather conditions, and you told me that the history of the AUS has some rain games.
Yeah, this is not particularly unusual for this
thing.
Well, I think they're dressing it up awfully well. I don't think it was a very positive week at all for that program. I think if you have to knock on residents' doors to fill out your football roster, you've made some mistakes through the course of your summer, and the information that I get is they did make plenty of mistakes in terms of their recruiting. Recruiting is an organizational thing. That's not a single man thing. That's a whole organizational thing. It's a commitment thing. They didn't make that commitment. I think what happened last week was inevitable. Whether it was 105-0 or not, that's another matter. But certainly a wide discrepancy between SMU and Mount A. This was totally inevitable.
Any closing comments? I know it's early in the year, but do you expect to see these two teams in the AUS final, or is it Acadia and St. FX, where they play each other, I believe, 3 times?
Yeah, I would expect to see these two there. I would expect to see St. Mary's to become a dominant team through the course of the fall. What they do here in the second half might tell us a little about that, because I think you've got to win a game or two like this somewhere along the season, and good teams find a way to do that. If they don't win this game on the road, on grass here today, then maybe it's fair to say Acadia has more than we've given them credit for.
St. Mary's are rated number 3 in the country, and I know ratings are so subjective. I have a hard time accepting number 3 simply because all the players that came back.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. How do you know, right? You don't see the other conferences. We didn't have any scouting on Regina last year. We thought they were weak, and they came in and won the Atlantic Bowl. You know, I serve on that rankings committee, and we just go by scores that we see week to week. It's really difficult to know. How good is Ottawa compared to St. Mary's? Maybe we'll find that out sometime in November. Until then, it's just a guess.
Monty, thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for your time.
All right, Monty Mosier, Chronicle Herald. As we take a look at some highlights, the highlight so far, leading to the major score by numero 34, number 34, Luis Perez. Highlight here, blocked. Block punt, someone touched it. Kyle Morrison had a big part to do in it. And of course, Matt Sharp didn't get it. St. Mary's recovered. Marco Picat throws, however, it is picked off towards the end by number 7. No, not Mickey Mantle, Dennis Arruda. Number 7 in football, John Elway. There's your stats for you. First downs, very close. Rushing, very close. Passing, the big difference. And Ryan Jones started off by the first 5 completions, perhaps there. Total yards, John, advantage St. Mary's, both in total yards and advantage in the scoreboard.
I tell you, Alex, this is something you wouldn't expect if you were first time looking at this Acadia team. They are being outthrown across the field.
Only really in the first drive. St. Mary's had to put up 90 of those 72 yards. I think came almost off that first drive. Take away the first drive, we got ourselves a 3-0 game.
You're absolutely right, but we're talking about a school with a history of throwing the ball. Again, we come back, the history of the great quarterbacks, the Justanis, the Capones, the Pipes, all of these people who have been great along the way. Now all of a sudden they're in a position where they're a little unsure about that, and they're working a different kind of game.
My imagination, first of all, you got soaked in the halftime here. Welcome to real live television, Mr. Chaders. But I believe it's looking good. You see some blue out here.
That it is. They did me the pleasure of keeping the rain just long enough for me to stand in it.
It's called baptism by fire. I'm delighted to have you. Name is Alex J. And I've got John Chaders with me. Welcome on board, everyone. If you've joined us late, this is Atlantic University football. Thanks to our 2 esteemed guests, Monty Mosier and Jody Jewers, who follow collegiate football as part of their beats. As we take a look at Domenico Bartolacci getting ready to kick. Andrew Cockett and Jermaine Romans getting ready to receive. Domenico warming up. David Stella, Matt Demers, Jeff Moody, Cartier Shield, Thibault, Marquez, Fleming, some of those on the special teams. Take a look at Acadia. Also see quite a few people right there. Cam Clements, some of those not getting that much of an opportunity to play. Cam Clements, Matt Wheeler,
Standby defensive back. Martin Pearson. More like the hands-on team, a lot of DBs, people accustomed to getting the ball in case you have a squib or a short kick. The second half is underway. Taken on the fly by Nick Gallagher. Small return, but good field position to start the second half. And I believe the rain has let up. The Huskies in maroon and white. Acadia, white and red. The home opener for the Axemen, as David Stella seems to be down on the play. And that is the case. Paul Fleming came over to check on him. As a matter of fact, we had a chance to talk to Paul Fleming about his thoughts on this upcoming game and the defense of Acadia. About them, what do you know?
I know they're a strong defense. I've been in the league for 4 years now and played with the majority of them. And a lot of the guys are returning strong. I mean, you got Grant and Romans coming back from CFL camps, and they're looking to go strong. And we just got to go out and execute our plays and play the football we know we can play.
How about the other role that you have? You also hold for punts, for field goals. And somebody see you do relatively well. And last year you actually did some throwing from that position.
Well, I mean, just in case of a bad snap, I'm going to have to get it and roll out. And but I mean, you got to be able to do it both ways, and just something I picked up and just came along and been at it for 2 years now. So.
You enjoy it?
Oh, I love it. Really do.
You ever tell the coach, come on, coach, put in a play for me?
No, I really don't tell the coach anything. He just tells me everything what to do. So.
Great answer. Really doesn't tell the coach what to do. The coach tells me. Speaking of rolling out, we saw the first play by Marco Picotte rolling out to his left. Minimal gain, perhaps 1 yard. As Marco is looking for direction. And he might be getting some via the what we call the pulling guard method. One guy comes in with the play, another one comes out. Eric Bourgeois, linebacker going in. As Marco comes to the sidelines, make sure you get the play. As we mentioned, Marco cannot hear, or has, well, he's considered legally deaf. Can read lips, but I don't think he can read Sonny's that far away, referring to Sonny Wolf. So usually there's a series of signs on how they get the play in. Well, right now the play is definitely flood to the right. 3 to 4 receivers on the right side. Marco looks right, throws right. That should have been caught. As they say, you have to make these receptions. And unfortunately, Mr. Noel did not.
You're absolutely right on that, Alex. It's a second half. It's a new game. The rain has stopped. The referee has brought in new, fresh, dry balls. You can't say it's slippery anymore. They're going through your hands. You've got to get control of the ball. Acadia is coming out with that flood set of receivers down to the right side of the field. They're going to be very aggressive now. They're going to try and go back to what they're known for, and that's the ball in the air.
Well, they certainly had the ball in the air. That should have been caught. It wasn't. It is third down. Ball on the 39-yard line. Bad snap. Kick it out. That could be a touchdown if St. Mary's gets it. You have to kick it out. Good move by Sharp. Almost backfired. If you're going to do that, kick it out. Safety. All right. It's 25 yards, or certainly 20 between that goal line. It's fine to play soccer, but it has to go through. So score that as another safety for St. Mary's. That is the second safety given up by Sharp. And we've got ourselves a 12-0 game in the third quarter. Interesting play. Monty Mosier mentioned, John, that one big play could change. And right now, well, all points in this kind of weather certainly add up.
That's absolutely true, Alex. I mean, every game comes down to a few key moments. It's what you do at those moments, if you execute at those moments, that will determine if you're on the winning side of the ball.
St. Mary's have a chance of receiving the ball or taking it at the 35. They take it. Jones, intercepted. There's Romans. He fumbles. Number 8 is after it. We'll see who has it. Matt Green dove. I think he may have recovered. Number 6 comes up with the ball, Scott Burge. So an interception and a fumble, so 2 turnovers on the same continuous play. Let's look at it. Overthrown. I don't know who the intended receiver was.
Ryan Jones put the ball right in Jermaine Roman's hands there, and Romans is an excellent runner. He takes the ball downfield. Problem is, he doesn't hold on to the ball. Patrick Thibault gets a hand on him, hand on the ball comes loose. 6 or 7 guys come down, and Scott Verge comes up with it in the end.
So a turnover early on in the 3rd period of this football game. Much drier. One of the officials gave us that, telling us that, telling, of course, about the turnover, and the ball goes to Acadian. Scott Burge made the play. He also has these comments.
First and 10 from the Huskies 30-yard line.
Before, but is the score misleading from last week?
Well, you know, all week, Coach has been saying, Coach Cummins, our new defensive coordinator, has been saying, we got to play the game, not play the opponent. We're just looking forward to playing our own game, playing our game plan. Let them do what they do. If we do what we do correctly, we're going to stop them.
Is blitzing a big part of the equation early in the season?
You got to play early in the season. You try to play vanilla. You try to show. You got to get your basics, get your fundamentals down, so everything's perfect, and you blitz off of that. So, yes and no. Yes and no. You have to have them ready to go, but you don't have to use them right away.
And there's an incomplete pass, or is it deliberate grounding? It's still an incomplete pass. It would go as that, but it could also be, you can be penalized for deliberately grounding. And I believe that may be the case. For the first time today, St. Mary's got to Marco Picot. It's as good as a sack. It is now first down, 20 yards to go. So chalk that up to 10-yard loss of yards by the St. Mary's defense. Picot looks, and he was hit as he threw. The Huskies are saying welcome to life as an Atlantic University sport football quarterback.
That they are. That's the 3rd or the 4th big hit Marco Picot has taken, and he is staying, he is not comfortable at all. He got up slowly, he took a knee, he's back up again. He does not look like he wants to keep playing at this point.
I'm not sure what choice they have. I think they are down, and he is down. He's hurt.
That you don't like to see. That you don't like to see at all. This means you got to go to another quarterback who's never played a game.
You're going into a rookie, and they've got a few of them on the depth chart, John. As we take a look at it, they've got Rogers and Clough. And that's Andrew Rogers from a small area in British Columbia. And Matt Clough, of course, a Halifax native. I'm trying to figure out who is warming up here. And right now, it looks as if Matt Clough, he is warming up. And I'm sure when Matt Clough came to training camp, Kristen Pike, Dan Carnival, Marco Picot, I don't think he was expecting to see one action, perhaps even this year, or if so, certainly not until the latter stages of this year. Picot is hurt. I don't know if we have the video. I don't recall who made the initial contact. All right. But one of the guys on defense, and a guy who was basically took a year off and is back, he went to Italy, is Joe Bonaventura, who talked about coming back to play football and life in Italy?
Well, I'm really excited, first of all, to be back. I'm happy that the program's allowed me to come back. And, you know, they've really warmed up to me to come back. I mean, everybody has the same view on the season. Everybody wants to win. It's a great attitude. The coaches have a great attitude. It's just, it's fun. It's a lot of fun to be here.
Tell me about football in Italy.
Well, the Italian conference isn't exactly the strongest, but it's the European conference that was strong. We play a lot of other teams, such as teams in Switzerland, teams in Austria. So, I mean, it was amazing to play with other players from the States, from Canada, that have gone on to play football. You know, some real talent that they bring into Europe.
We're back live here, and I'm going to say something. That's not a bad effort. A kid comes in, his very first play, under the gun, basically no warm-up. And Matt Clove delivers. Not a first down, but certainly moved the ball very close to 10 yards. 10 yards of real estate gained. Not a bad effort.
That's true. You like to see that on a freshman quarterback coming in. First play, give him a chance to throw the ball, let him see how he handles it, and he did an excellent job delivering the ball there.
That's Dan Carrillo, who picked up the pass. And that's for Carrillo as his second reception of the afternoon. This time the snap is decent, but perhaps Sharp's poorest effort of the day. Taken by the Huskies, and they will start with 12:09 in the third period, leading by a score of 12-0.
There's a flag on the play.
Atlantic University football here on Eastlink television. As we looked at Curtis Nash, well, they've done one thing well here. They're trying to confine him to the sidelines, John, and a lot of people, a lot of bodies. And I'm not able to tell about the infraction. As a matter of fact, we've had a rain casualty, I'm told. The reason you're not hearing the official is the rain. Certainly not a producer's best friend who's knocked off the wireless mic. So we'll do the interpretation through the signals as Ryan Jones. Hands off to Luis Perez to center. A good chunk of real estate, very close to his best yardage of the day. Good carry by Perez.
Number 8, Matthew Green.
Let's take a look at the replay here on this, Alex. And easy handoff to Luis Perez, and he just goes right upfield. Wide open hole. The offensive line took a good control of the defense there. Everybody got their man, made big holes. All he had to do was go through the gap. Only Matt Green, way back at safety, could bring him down.
Second down. This time it's Hakeem. He gets 4 or 5, and Hakeem opened a nice hole for Luis Perez on the preceding play. Gets a chance to do some carrying himself. Sort of the traditional type of fullback. I clear the hole out for you first, and then Perez comes in after. But nice to see a guy get an opportunity to carry. I'm sure you want to do more than block.
That he does. Erico is a big, bruising kind of running back. He wants to get the ball. He wants the chance to push through the line.
Well, this time it's the line of Acadia. Good defensive line. Grant, Conley, Phillips, Verge converging to minimize that gain to 2 to 3 yards. And of course, we've seen Hakeem. I haven't seen him much today and haven't had the opportunity even to, but if the ball is inside the 3 or 4 yard line, you need a yard. He basically also comes in, does he not?
Yeah, Erico is St. Mary's power fullback. As soon as they need a yard or less, they're going to give the ball to him and let him bruise it across.
Haven't seen too many substitutions. As a matter of fact, we'll talk about it a little later, but people are wondering about Dean Jones. Dean Jones is injured. He'll talk about his injury a little later. Gabe Harvey, who was not in last week, is dressed, has not seen action yet. Mullings has had a carry or two, I believe. And right now, Domenico from the 50. Nice punt. Romans at the 7. Will they pin him in? He breaks it. He fumbles it. And he loses it.
Ball fumbled and recovered by St. Mary's.
Well, our guest Monty Mosier said there would be a special teams play. Prophetic.
I think we just saw it right there. Everybody who returns the ball is always told one thing: whatever you do, hold on to the ball. He got through there, he got loose. Here he is taking the move, and nobody touched him. He just lost a grip on the ball.
Trying to put it in to solidify it. It didn't work. Ryan Jones, good opportunity here.
First and 10, St. Mary's.
Ball around the 21-yard line. And Acadia's defense stymied that first one. Nick Comley from Wasaga Beach, Ontario, his 3rd year. Stuffs up Luis Perez.
Take a look at it here on the replay, Alex. Luis Perez gets a hold of the ball, but he's got no holes to go to. Red jerseys are everywhere.
Comley and Verge on that one. Well, you're looking for a lot from your defense. Again, Monty mentioned I think defensively, there's no doubt about it, is the strong part of the Acadia team, certainly at this stage in the season. St. Mary's calls a timeout with 9:27 left. Speaking, we mentioned Dean Jones. If Dean Jones is ready, if we can perhaps get him in the truck. Dean is not in today. He usually, of course, spares and alternates with Luis Perez. But Jones not able to play. He certainly misses it, the kid from Edmonton, but he has the injury. 12-0. St. Mary's over Acadia. In the other game today, we hopefully perhaps may be able to get you a score on the Mount Allison game, the homecoming game against Santa Fe. As we take a look on the field, a little bit of a respite for the teams. As Ryan Jones trots back, getting instruction from Steve Shimura, the offensive coordinator. Ball on the 23-yard line, 2nd down, 2nd and 10. Curry, flank left. Fleming to the right. Tebow in the slot. Jones all alone. 6 receivers. Does he find one? He does. Can't hold the ball. Patrick Tebow.
Looks like Tebow's feeling the effects of that rain. Still cuts back, ready to catch that ball, and his feet just kept going on him.
Let's go. Field goal. There will be a field goal attempt. Matter of fact, as we take a look at this play here, well thrown. And I think Patrick fell and the ball hit him. So lost a footing as Bartolacci from the 30-yard line. Odelry, the center. Fleming, the holder. It's down. It's up. And it's good. It is now 15-0. St. Mary's against Acadia, 8:48 left in the 3rd quarter. Interesting, John, I took an Acadia practice this week, and there's one thing I sat and listened to the coaches and found it very interesting about Sonny Wolf, saying that special teams is very, very important. He talked at the top of the game, but he also said, look, I don't want to hear anybody telling me they can't play special teams on that day. Tell me before. If you want to rest, we'll give you one on offense or we'll give you one on defense. But I don't want people begging off special teams, and I like that. If you want to play football, you play football. Steve Tasker in the NFL made it on special teams. As Marco Picot is trying to make up a total of 15 points here with 8:24 left in the 3rd.
You know, Alex, the first thing that anyone's going to tell a rookie when he comes into a training camp is this: look, we've got veteran guys on offense, we got veteran guys on defense. If you want a shot to make this team, you go do it on special teams. It's also the quickest way to get pulled off a team. You don't go downfield, you don't work hard, they're going to sit you next week and get somebody in on special teams who can do that. That means they can't leave you as a running back if you can't be there for special teams.
That makes sense. 6 receivers. Picot rolls, throws, and no, that is not caught. Didn't think it was caught. Intended for Nick Gallagher. I like your thought, John, that at least if you make special teams, you're on the field, and there's an opportunity. Somebody can get hurt. Somebody can get kicked out of a game. You don't want to see that. Many things can happen, and you can't play if you're not there.
That's right. If you're not in a jersey, you cannot be a part of the team on game day.
No matter how good your stats were in high school.
Exactly. That can't be effective. You can only get 40 guys on a road roster, 45 if you're at home. That means the other 60 or the other 30 or 20 guys who are on the team can't play. The best way to get your shot at playing every day is to get yourself in a uniform. The best way to do that is to play on special teams.
As the kick is taken by Nash near midfield. Curtis circles back to the 50. 55. Relatively well handled. That's a gain of 7 yards. Good effort both ways. Tackled on the play by Kyle Zerba. Now here's a guy who perhaps is one of the best rushers, and he is considered on this for third down a special teams performer.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter who you are. Sooner or later, you're going to get a call on a third down situation, whether it's to hit a returner, whether it's to block for a punter, no matter what it is, sooner or later, somebody's got to do it, because it's a third of the game. It's just as important as your offense. It's just as important as your defense. If you lose it, you could very well lose the game as a result of it.
Ryan Jones ahead by 15 points. At the 50-yard line of Acadia, to Luis Perez, who sees a hole, who sees daylight, who perhaps was 1 or 2 strides away from getting a humongous gain, picks up a good gain, picks up the first down.
What have we seen when we're watching Luis Perez today? We're seeing him getting tackled by the safety. We're seeing him getting tackled by the cornerback coming across the field. He's getting through the line every time. As we watch it right here, he picks up the ball from Ryan Jones, breaks through the line, comes around the line, and there's nobody there for him. Who has to come up and make the tackle? The safeties, the corner. In that case, Matt Green, the safety, made the play. As long as that happens, you're going to be moving the ball downfield. You're going to score a lot of points.
Well, I saw also some big guys, some 300-pounders there. I believe I saw 61. That is Jean-Michel Sylvain, a fifth-year player. I also saw 65, John Salmas, a 4-year player. As we take a look at Chouinard, or I should say Bertrand, who's played well, shaken up a bit, but will come back. I like him. Mentioned his name more, I think, in one day than I have most of last year. Getting an opportunity to play for Acadia.
That's true there, Alex. This is one of those guys that came in, comes a part of the team through special teams. Then when you're on the field, you get a chance to make a name for yourself as a defender. He's going to be a very big part of this Axemen team as the time goes on.
From Memram Cook, New Brunswick, Eric Bertrand. Jones tosses it to Perez, who is tackled on the fly. Wonderful tackle by number 42, Kareem Grant, who is definitely, so far, perhaps the best outstanding defensive player this afternoon.
That he has. There's a reason why Kareem Grant went to play pro this summer, and that's it right there. He comes through time and time again for the Axemen defense.
Well, it was a significant loss. After a reasonable gain, second down, 13 yards, Jones. In tender for Paul Fleming, thrown slightly behind him. So I take a look at Jones today. And according to my statistician, 5 for 16.
Take a look at this ball right here, though, Alex. This one, you can't fault the receiver on. It was thrown behind him. Paul Fleming made an outstanding effort to try and get a hold of it, and he took a hit for it. As a result of it, he's now down, looking to come off.
It's one of the few, regardless of the weather one of the few errant balls that Ryan Jones has thrown, because the stats don't look too good here today, 5 for 16, but a lot have been dropped and everything else. That was one of the few bad passes, or certainly thrown behind him. 6 minutes and 8 seconds left. 15-0 as Bartolacci will attempt. This is going to be far. 43-yard field goal. Or is it a fake? No fake. Good kick. It is wide. Green, 5, 10, 15. Close to the 20.
All receiving carry by number 8, Matthew Green.
Certainly with the score and the opportunity, Blake Nill getting a chance to practice his field goal unit. I'm still waiting for the fake field goal.
I don't know if we'll see it today, but take a look at Matt Green on this return. Here's a guy who's gotten a lot of work bringing the ball back. First on the field goal attempt where he dropped the ball. And this one here, he caught it clean and made a nice return out of it. See, that's the difference between huge yardage. If you catch the ball cleanly, you're going to get the opportunity to run down the field and make a big play. If you don't have control of the ball, obviously you can't do much.
As we look at some of the offensive people, number 63, Nick Stotovich from Guelph, Ontario. And the center, Mac Doughty, also an Ontario native. Some of the people on that forward line for Acadia. Marco Picat back at quarterback. Marco throws. It is caught. Now a bunch of flags. And I see the officials coming into the fray here. And I think they're going to have a chat with one of the coaches. They're looking in the direction of Blake Nill there. You can see them on your screen. The head official.
I tell you, Alex, there's no need for what we're seeing right now. That was a good play on both sides of the ball. The receiver made an outstanding catch. He was covered very well by his defender. And now we're seeing, obviously, an unsportsmanlike call, quite possibly more than that. As the referee now talks to Machi Demers over on the sidelines.
Well, again, we see we can pick it up. Keep your eye on number 2. That's Matt Demers in maroon. He's going to start, obviously, pursuing the play. Now, he's being held a bit by number 50. Not much. So the ball is caught by Zerba. Goes out of bounds. Now, there's nothing there that I can see from that angle.
No, there was nothing there. All we saw was a good play. The defender was right there. Troy Hutt, you can't ask for anything more from a defensive back or from a linebacker who's covering a receiver.
Number 2, St. Mary's disqualification.
There you have Matt Demers has been disqualified or kicked out of the game. However, the official did not say why. And we could not tell from that shot what happened.
You don't see that too often in university football. What he did, he must have done after the play, and it must have been a doozy.
Well, disqualification is automatically 25 yards, so there's a chunk of ground that has been given to Acadia. The loss of a very good player. I'm not sure if it carries forward into another game. But it turns out to be a very good game. And again, we can only tell you it was disqualified. We don't know why. Some form of unsportsmanlike conduct. Picat, this is strictly a run. And Joe Donovan Shore and Jeff Moody. This is what I like to see. Guy got hit hard. The defender picks him up and says, hey, you know, I won this battle. Welcome back. And we've been given a score of the Mount Allison game. The Mounties certainly keeping it close as we watch Marco Picat take a run. Look at the run first. Bodies blocking. Bonaventura slows him down. Moody finishes him off. And the score in the first quarter in Sackville, New Brunswick is 14-7 in favor of Santa Fe against Mount A. Very respectable, very good, and it is Mount Allison's homecoming. Second down, a loss of 2.5 on the play, so you're looking at second and 12, and the Rains have come back. Picot, nobody in the backfield. St. Mary's blitz, Dougie Borden. Lyman, Picot throws, underthrows. Aimed for Carrillo, and Picot's numbers, 19 attempts, and are the 4 completions. So certainly not in the, or a prodigious display of passing efficiency, but again, in fairness to all quarterbacks today, I don't know how you can throw that thing in that weather. Although there are some guys who are better than others, John.
Not even that. Take a look at this play. Marco Picot's moving the ball, and he's got 1, 2, 3 St. Mary's guys in the backfield. It's 4 St. Mary's guys in the backfield. It's almost as if the Acadia linemen took that play off. They've got to give their quarterback more time to complete a play.
Good kick. Nash, straight up. He breaks. I call it a good play all around. Nash gained 15 yards, and he was tackled.
Kyle Zerber showed us right there why he's on this team. Not only is he an outstanding runner, not only is he a leader in the dressing room, but when it comes time to make a play and go downfield and help out somewhere, he comes up with a play like that. That was an outstanding job.
Well, outstanding in the fact that, and I also don't want to negate from Curtis Nash, who picked up a good 15 yards. I think most coaches will take 15 yards. Trouble is when you got a Nash or a Romans, that 15 could go to 50 if you don't make that kind of play. It was an excellent play, and the Rains are continuing to fall. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. We've got a 15-0 contest. St. Mary's, Ryan Jones, Luis Perez has the ball, slashes, dances, moves, breaks away to the side, to the 45, to the 50, almost to center. What a run by Luis Perez.
First down, St. Mary's.
St. Mary's having lots of personnel as we look at this great run today. Keeps going, slashing, moving his legs. First down, St. Mary's. Who gets the ball again? Perez breaks it through the 50. Almost to the 45-yard line. And that's very, very close to a first down. He's going to move the sticks again. 3:33.
Come on, White! Come on, front four!
Last week, St. Mary's basically showed an awesome passing game. Ryan Jones came within 1 touchdown pass of tying a conference record. He would have had it had he stayed in the game. Today, it's Luis Perez. Look at this. The workhorse continues.
And again, it's the Acadia secondary who's being forced to make the tackles here.
Third consecutive time they've given Perez the ball. Third consecutive time he has moved the sticks. As our cameras grab that man in motion. As Jonathan says, it's people in the secondary, so he's blasting through, or that offensive line is clearing some holes, getting by the box or the front 7. Here he goes again, 5. Very close to a first down, very close. Maybe 9. Let's take a look where they mark it. 8.5, 9 yards. Perez.
Here comes Erico Akeem. Look for them to do that power dive.
How about a fake? I guess when the ground game and these guys are opening holes, you go for first down.
On second down, yes, you do.
Second down, Perez, first down.
Good job, D. Good job, D. Keep it up, D.
2:04 left. As you look at the clock right there. As we look at Marco Picot on the sideline, hoping the defense can hold, so at least he gets a chance with his team being 2 touchdowns behind.
Anything is possible in this sport, but obviously the more points you have to come back from, the harder. Jones this time fakes to Perez. He throws. If that's a catch, it's a dandy. Patrick Thibault.
It is a great catch under coverage, inside, kept his feet in bounds, and moving the sticks right along.
It's his first completion for Ryan Jones in a while. Nice catch. Went up and got it. So that is Jones's 17th passing attempt. He's completed 6 this afternoon. Our thanks to our statistician Kathy for those numbers. Perez. And Mullings in the backfield. And Mullings gets the ball, but I thought I spotted a sign of dejection.
Well, Mullings got the ball, and he made a good play. He got right through the line. Unfortunately, there's a flag on the field. Looks like it's going to be coming back. Probably a holding call on the offensive line on that one.
From Hamilton, Ontario, Leslie Mullings.
And that it is. There's nothing worse for a running back or a receiver or anybody on offense to make a beautiful play like that and have to watch it come back.
Well, Morley and Sylvain Olderive have certainly been doing well. Ian Ferguson and John Salmus putting some gaping holes. Fleming. As we take a look at another ground attempt. No huddle offense right now. Good time to try it. Preventing Acadia from substitution. Fleming and Tyler to one side. 6 receivers. Stalla on the other, along with Jason Curry. Thibault in the left slot. Ryan Jones barking signals. He's played the entire game. Oh! It looked like a touchdown pass.
That was a good zone defense from the Acadia. They had 3 or 4 guys back, not necessarily covering a band, but making sure that they had their whole field with a guy on spot. In this case, Matt Green staying back up against the goalpost. Ball got up in the air. All he had to do was move 3 steps to his right, and he was able to get involved, knock that play out of Dave Stella's hands.
Ball was coming in. David probably saying, I've got 6. Lo and behold, member of the Acadia Axemen batted it down, so we're getting ourselves a field goal attempt. 20 seconds left in this quarter as you see the time clock moving. Fleming holds. Dominique kicks. The result, 3 points. We got ourselves an 18-0 football game. So you're looking at 2 converted touchdowns or 2-point converts plus something else. So you're looking at 3 scores for Acadia to come back in this contest. They basically have 1 quarter to do it in. We'll be changing quarters momentarily. And the slight break we had weather-wise, John, is has stopped the rains of return. Marco Picat rolling. Kyle Morrison pursuing and gets him. Nice pursuit. That ends the 3rd quarter, and you're watching.
And Picard is hobbling again. Don't let's see that. As we take a look at the Raymond Field stand here, outstanding crowd we've had today. Probably capacity in the grandstand, good 1,500, as well as several on the other side of the field. Nice to see on a cold, windy day when many people would want to stay home.
I'm trying to figure out where they're getting in that shot. I don't see a camera on the other side of the field here, but We're somewhere around in the middle.
That's
there.
my hand you're
All
seeing right there.
There, okay, good enough. It is 18-0 here. Our statistician, Kathy, you want to wave? All right, they cut you off. All right. And, of course, from press row, right here at the Raymond Stadium, it is 18-0. Oh, no. Get these guys off. Where in the heck is that camera? And you're watching football on Eastlink television. Our next broadcast will be Friday night from St. Mary's, and you heard correctly, Friday night football. Could be a good game. We've had a good defensive battle here.
21 for Acadia.
Perhaps the weather will not be as inclement. Picot throws deep for Brinicombe, and that's almost picked off. It might be by Stephen Marquez.
That is picked off. That's a St. Mary's ball. Steve Marquez, the outstanding effort. Marco Picot put up a very wobbly ball. Marquez got one hand on it, found a way to reel it in, held it against its shoulder or something, and brought the ball down. That was an outstanding secondary effort.
And once again, if you're wondering why didn't they allow, as soon as he has possession and his knee touches, the ball is dead. Let's take a look at it. Nice catch.
Take a look at that. He's coming up. He's got it in one arm.
Nice grab. No, NFL you could. Pro ball you couldn't. Pro ball they have to physically touch you. So you can grab the ball, fall down, and get back up. But if you put a knee down in college ball, the play is called for safety reasons. From the 50-yard line of Acadia, guess who has the ball? Perez, 45, 40, 35. He keeps moving almost to the 30-yard line. I don't have individual stats on Lewis, but he has hit a chunk of football real estate, especially in the second half.
That he has, and I tell you, he's got to be buying dinner for the offensive line on that one, because Jean-Michel Sylvain made an outstanding block on that one.
Do college guys, do they have money to afford dinner for linesmen? I mean, look at the size of these guys.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to keep those holes open.
Come on, perhaps a beer at the Gorsenbrook. There's Perez again. This time, not too much blockage. Doesn't gain that much. Speaking of offensive line, I think you'll appreciate this. I got an email this week on our new sports website, sportsite.ca, where we talk a lot about college sports. But one of the emails I got was from Charlie Talk, who's in Japan teaching English. Charlie certainly wants to be remembered by people in the football business. Charlie, I think, 365? How much did he weigh?
Charlie graduated weighing in at 371.
371. That's the entire offensive line in my high school.
And that it was. He was a load. He could move 4 guys at once. Let's take a moment and talk about next Saturday when the Mount Allison Mounties will be playing against X. You'll have it again right here live on Eastlink Community Television, right here at home.
So we got ourselves a doubleheader weekend next Friday night from St. Mary's, and as John mentioned, the Saturday afternoon contest. So I wanted to mention that about Charlie. I didn't know, but when Blake Mill went recruiting in Quebec, Blake cannot speak Le Français much, as we look at the play here from Ryan Jones. And I guess Charlie went along as his interpreter.
That he did. Charlie Toth is an amazing story. Here's a guy who speaks 5 languages. He's got English, he's got French, he's got Japanese, he's got Cantonese, and another one which I can't even remember.
Well, you know, the obvious question is this guy belongs in the United Nations, but he's in Japan, and he certainly follows college football, and we were certainly delighted in hearing from him. Field goal attempt by Domenico Bartolacci. That's wide. Matt Green takes it. He clears the 5. The 10 falls to the 15-yard line.
That's a nice job by Matt Green. He's going to get the ball out to the 20. Calvin pulled the ball out of the end zone on that.
And some other names of football names of yesteryear, if you want to call it that, as we look at this. That's wide. Marc Loranger, who again came up on the news as one of the people who recruited relatively successfully for Mount Allison, is back in football. He is a coach at Bishop's University. So he is handling either, I think it's defensive coordinator, and I had a chance to speak to him this week. And there are a lot of people who've coached in this conference who have played that are in different parts of Canada. And certainly through television and through the internet are certainly keeping tabs up on what is happening in college football. Right now it's 18-0 is what's happening. And Acadia, and I think it's a good move, John, are giving an opportunity for a young kid to get some experience.
Absolutely. Obviously this year they've got to go with a guy who doesn't have much experience as a veteran. Might as well take the opportunity and get your young guys in. I mean, they can only get better as a result of it.
Well, it's 18-0, and you're not, really conceding anything, but you're saying, okay, what happens if Marco gets hurt, Dan Carnival is hurt? So, you give someone an opportunity, and he is 1-for-1 passing so far when he came in. Matt Clough from QEH played his college ball. He's 2 for 2. Look at this. Kyle Zerba.
That's an outstanding play. You don't see that kind of throw from a freshman very often. Matt Clough just dropped back, looked over the line, got pressure on him. Didn't matter. He still released the ball. Real nice Kyle Zerba. Let's take a look at it right here. Here he is, drop back, quick 3 steps, simple quarterback. Joe Bonaventura's got a hand on him. A hand's not enough. He gets the ball off to Kyle Zerba, who makes an outstanding play down the field.
All righty, and I'm going to do some individual stats for Matt. He's 2 for 2 since he's come in the game, and Kyle Zerba was able to get that. That's the entire total here, of course. Acadia total team passing have tried 21. And Matt is basically 2 for 2 on an individual basis.
Dougie Borden's the injured Husky on that play.
They talk about old-fashioned football. You're watching it. A lot of the pros are no longer in this kind of weather with the covered domes and everything else.
That they are. In the CFL, for example, there's only one team in the whole league that still plays on grass. Everybody else is going to that smooth, continuous surface. And I tell you, there's nothing like an old-fashioned game in the rain, in the mud.
Well, let's not get too carried away here. If you're a quarterback, you don't want the mud.
Yeah,
but it does happen.
The guys on the line are loving it right
I'm
now.
sure they are. And of course, some of our kids go, when I say our kids, college kids go to the CFL. Nice to see Mark Nora, who played here in the Atlantic Bowl a few years, starting on a Canadian team. That's nice to see. I saw Eric Lapointe, I think, on special teams in Montreal the other day. As we look at a pitch out again to Zerba, who really hasn't been used that much as a ground carrier today as a result of the always trailing and having to use the sprint out position that Acadia has.
Exactly that. Not only that, he's been catching the ball downfield on that pass from Matt Clough right there. It's an outstanding example of how he can be so versatile.
And I think starting the next couple of broadcasts, we're going to try and keep you posted as to what the rest of the country is doing. Any news? Who's leading out in different conferences, John?
As of right now, I'm not seeing any scores, but I tell you, the teams you want to be looking out for again this year are McMaster in Ontario, Laval in Quebec. What are the Manitobas? What are the Regina Rams doing?
Didn't Laval lose? Didn't they lose a game?
Laval lost to Concordia in their opener. Amazing story there. 18,000 fans showed up.
Matt Clough almost picked off, and a second later he has a completion to Kyle Zerba. So Clough completes
number 5, Kyle Zerba.
And Zerba. So Clough is still 3 for 3 in passing.
Take a look at this, though. If it's a dry football, I think Joey Bonaventura had the pick right there. Pass from Chloe right into his hands, and look who comes up with it.
Well, Thanksgiving is not that far away. I think a couple of weekends in Canada, so look at it as a Thanksgiving present. As Acadia will punt again.
Get that tray, get that tray!
The old traditional end over end. Curtis Nash fumbles it. And
who's got the ball?
Out of the pile comes, I don't think the officials know yet, although I saw a sign here. It looks like St. Mary's. It is. It is. I know that it's hard to catch a football in the rain, but Blake Mill must still have some form of frustration because that is the second, if not the third, fumble on kicks today, and you have to catch the ball.
You're absolutely right there, and this is something that they're going to hear an earful about this week in practice. I mean, You've got to catch the ball. You've got to catch the ball in order to move upfield. You've got to move upfield in order to give your offense better field position, and the better field position you have, the more likely you are to score. Everything in football is a chain of events, and if you start off badly, as they did on that one.
Like, I'm just wondering, is it better to just let it bounce? I mean, catch it. It doesn't matter if you don't make any yards. As we take a look at, who else? Oh, look at Perez. Beautiful run. He may go. 20, 15. Taken down just before the 10-yard line. A terrific run this afternoon. By no doubt the offensive player of the afternoon,
and Louis Perez is staying down.
Tackle on the play by number 33, Adam.
He got tackled awkward on that play, and looks like he's feeling. Let's take a look at it right here. Again, simple handoff, Louis Perez up the middle, big hole thanks to the offensive line. And here he is. He's off to the races. Matt Green tries to get a hand on him. Hand isn't enough. You got to use your body. Jermaine Romans tries to get a hand on him. Doesn't get him. Louis Perez is off to the races. In the end, it was
Puny. This is probably the smallest guy on the team. Caught up to him. Some great driving by Perez. Poor tackling by Acadia. Combination is a monstrous gain, but we'll see the kind of price we have. See number 15, Leslie Mullings is out there. And there's no doubt Louis Perez is the #1 running back for the Huskies. While he, I think, can walk, he's been helped off the field. With 9:52 left, I see some players who are dressed, have not got into uniform, or not got onto the field.
Guys, we gotta back up. We gotta get in the white box.
It's the first time, I think, in over a year I've seen Ryan Jones go all 4 quarters, or thus far in the 4th quarter.
not since the Atlantic Bowl anyway. And last year throughout the season, I don't think he finished a single game. So
not in regular season game.
This is something St. Mary's talked about a lot during the offseason. They have to get their starters playing the entire game, because sooner or later they are going to end up in a close one. They're going to want to make sure their guys have the conditioning to do it.
I'll buy conditioning. I won't buy that it's going to help you win the Atlantic Bowl. I'll buy the conditioning aspect, because I don't think the Atlantic Bowl last year, St. Mary's lost it because they didn't get a chance to play. They put over 500 yards on offense last year. After we play 1 quarter or 4, you put 500 yards in a game, John, you're going to win the game. But conditioning, I'll buy. Gabe Harvey, number 33, dressed, looking for his first action in this year, as we take a look at Mullings. From Hamilton. Jones tosses to Mullings. And oh, nice move. Got by the first wave of tacklers. Took it down. Very close to the goal line. As we, right in front of us is Louis Perez. Looks like he's getting a tape job on his ankle.
Let's take a look at the replay on that. Les Mullings gets the ball, and he just moves quick as a cat. Steve Morley's got his block over there, and all Mullings has to do is go around it, and outstanding effort down the field.
The Huskies in position to strike again. Jones looks, throws, batted in the air. Incomplete pass. That's the 20th pass attempt for Ryan Jones today.
And that was a third down conversion, or a third down touchdown attempt, so Acadia gets the ball. That's a big boost for their defense, stopping the Huskies that close to their zone. Let's take a look at it here, the toss, and the ball, bang, off the uprights. There's not much you can do about that.
Not much. Sometimes a goaltender in hockey, in another sport, will tell you the posts are great to have.
Yeah, but ask a quarterback or a kicker.
Well, once in a while, the post can help a kicker. It can Karoma off.
Yep.
First and 10 Acadia from the actual 4-yard line.
So Acadia get another offensive series. Clough, he's completed. This guy so far is doing 4 for 4.
Pass complete to number 80, Dan Murillo.
And Carrillo picks up another one. That's his third reception of the day.
Gain of 9 yards at 2nd and 1, Acadia.
As you look at the reception yourself, and again, I don't know if we can get a camera shot here, but I see Luis Perez right in front of us on the table, has been taped up and looks as if he is ready to play again. In the meantime, we're looking at a 2nd and 1 situation. Klo, who's looked effective. Ball, Zerba, he's got the first down.
Ball carried to number 5, Kyle Zerba, first down, Acadia.
There's Luis Perez walking it off, as they say. And that's what we saw, John, he's running it off now. That tape job. I'd like to know why Zerba changed his number this year. He was in the 30s last year. Preference to numbers?
Sometimes when you come in as a rookie, you can't get the number you want because a veteran has
Okay.
it. Veteran moves on. You have the opportunity to take the number of your choice.
Well, I'll give you 2 number 5s that come to mind in a moment here, but right now, Matt Klo going for another pass, and incomplete.
Pass is incomplete.
I think of number 5 in the pros, I think of Dieter Brock, quarterback with a golden arm, who basically gave Warren Moon, who was inducted last night in the CFL Hall of Fame, some of his best matches. And maybe number 5 over the last 10 years, as we look at Matt Klo, is perhaps the greatest running back I have ever seen in Canadian intercollegiate football, and that is
Eric Lapointe.
Eric Lapointe. That's right. So, you know, and you don't see too many number 5s. So when you see a number 5, you say, hey, you know, I've seen that number going around. Same as 99 in hockey, you know, 77. So Klo this time from the shotgun. First time he's operating from that. Looks, throws to Brunnicombe. Well, the officials say incomplete. That looked close. Mike Brunnicombe 2 years ago took the hardest shot I have ever seen in my life from one of the Huskies.
Sean Mifflin.
Sean Mifflin. Right you are. So let's look at Klo. Looks like Brunnicombe has it, but you must maintain. Oh, didn't have possession. Had
Ball
it.
hit the ground.
Had it. When Mifflin hit Brunnicombe, I looked. If there was ever such a thing as a critical injury on the field, I thought that was it. I really thought. But you know what? I was very delighted. He got up, which means that protection you players wear works most of the time.
That's it exactly. Everyone likes to complain about it, but sooner or later, you're going to need it.
Well, first of all, a new punt returner, Josh Labucki.
There is a flag on the play.
No, so it was nice to see. It was nice to see the equipment, the shoulder pads, the helmet, obviously the body gear. It worked, because that day it happened right in front of me, and it's probably the biggest blow I have ever seen. You know, once in a while you say things happen, it happened. And Brunnicombe didn't come back that day. I think he may have been even out a couple of games, but came back last year, and obviously a key member in the Acadia plans for this year. And our plans are on Friday night to bring you Friday night football from St. Mary's.
St. Mary's from the Acadia 48.
My name is Alex J, along with John Chaters. The rest of our personnel and crew from Eastlink Television. As Luis Perez continues his daunting afternoon, rushing-wise. I think next time I'll have to give my statistician a special calculator for Mr. Perez.
Gain of 4 yards.
Yeah, you will. Let's take another look at Louis Perez here.
He's got to be around 150 mark.
Again, through the line. Only Ian Ayers can stop him there, and that he did with a little help from Derek Smith.
By the way, speaking of rushing, I want to acknowledge Terry Holland of St. Pat's, who on Friday night had over 300 yards rushing as St. Pat's in Halifax, as we watch Perez. Won their game 48-14 against Cole Harbour St. Pat's in Halifax. And I don't mind if somebody wants to send us some high school information across the Maritimes, across the Eastlink coverage, we can get it on. But St. Pat's haven't won a championship, a provincial one, since 1973. And they look very, very strong to do it this year. And of course, some of the areas that you get Eastlink in, Truro, the Cobequid Cougars, and Mr. McKay, a tremendous football program. Antigonish, Dr. J.H. Gillis High School are competing and will be allowed to participate as we watch the participation of Louis Perez. Football is growing in Atlantic Canada. Football is growing in Nova Scotia. Moncton have got a great program also.
That they do, Alex. Football right across Canada has started to grow over the last couple of years. Places like Quebec has seen big improvements of it. Places like PEI have seen big improvements in their high school football.
So perhaps in the future we'll give you perhaps an email where you can send us some information, and if broadcast time permits, perhaps we could acknowledge some of the positive moves and good stories that are in high school football. I want to also give a great one for a guy called Rob Morgan, who handles the Sackville High School program. This guy's been basically there from day one, and he ran out of coaches this year and basically put a plea towards the media, and a tremendous reaction. I think he's picked up a couple of extra coaches. People are devoting their time. Even the parents in Sackville are incredibly pleased because it's a great way to basically teach composure, teach discipline, teach harmony, and keep your kids off the street. So our congratulations to Rob Morgan and the Sackville program and people like Mr. West and others that are helping him. Right now, Ryan Jones attempted for Paul Fleming. Incomplete.
Let's take a moment now, Alex, to remind the folks that if you would like to comment on this live Eastlink television event or any other show you see on this channel, give us a call at 1-880-354-8439, or you can always give us an email on the internet at comments@eastlink.ca.
Perfect. And that number, to put it in perspective terms here, is 880-3. Who wears number 3? Babe Ruth. 54, the year that Willie Mays made the catch off Vic Wirtz. 84 and 39. Well, 84 is Randy Moss and 39 is Dominic Hasek. So there, put that in perspective.
How long did it take you to figure that out?
I don't know, a couple of seconds, I guess.
Few too much time on your hands?
No, just a facility with numbers. As we look at the kick. You want a hockey number 3? How many hockey number 3s?
Let's go.
Jean-Claude Tremblay from Montreal Canadiens. Number 5, come on, Canadiens. Barney Geoffrion for Jean Beliveau. But of course, you have a comment, by all means. And again, if you have a sports program or a football program, if John says you want to email it, we'll be glad if we can, during a broadcast, use it. I know this broadcast is going through many parts of the Maritimes, and a lot of people, a lot of high schools. I know that New Brunswick, Panama has a program. Right now, it's 18-0. As Acadia will try to use this time and give Matt Close some experience. The kid has done well. Oh, beautiful ball, well thrown. To Dan Carrillo, incomplete.
That's a good job from Dennis Arruda on the defense there. He had his man within an arm's reach the whole time. Very, very careful not to draw a flag for a pass interference. Took a look behind, saw the ball, and just batted it out of the way. Let's take a look at it right here. Clout pulls back, gets ready to toss the ball out. And there it is. Watch the receiver and the defensive back right there. Dennis Arruda right on his man. Outstanding, outstanding effort. You cannot beat that from a defensive player.
Dennis Arruda, one of 3 or 4 Huskies who has promised not to shave until November. Clough, wide open. Corey Allison, close to a first down. He may have it.
Pass complete. Number 72, Corey Allison.
I'm going to throw one at you. You know, I like Marco Picard. Kid's a great receiver, good running back. But Clough, now maybe the weather's a factor. All right, Clough looks like a quarterback. Throws more like a quarterback. It might be unfair to Marco because you know, at least perhaps he's got a dry ball, so maybe we'll wait on that.
You know, I don't think you're being unfair to Marco. Marco is a guy whose natural intention when he gets the ball is to run with it. He's a receiver. He catches the ball and he runs with it. He's a running back. He is handed the ball and he runs with it. When he's getting that ball out of the center, the first thing he's doing is thinking, okay, I should run.
Well,
right? On the other hand, Clore here, a natural quarterback, first thing he's going to look to do is throw the ball. In fact, I'd be very surprised if we see him showing very much mobility at all today.
Well, if somebody from the Huskies pointed out that basically by putting Picot as the quarterback, they are not as strong as obviously as Kristen Pike, maybe even Carnival, and they lose one of their top receivers, Marco Picot.
Well, that's just it. Marco Picot is a pretty good quarterback, yes, but he is an excellent, one of the top receivers in this league. And by putting him at quarterback, you've hurt yourself at receiver.
I'll give you one advantage, though, that if Picot is quarterback in a close game, in a tie game, Marco Picot can kick.
That he can.
Quick kick.
That he can.
Am I dating myself by saying, you know, I remember the CFL when they quick kick? Hey, I saw Randall Cunningham do it around 10 years ago, so. From the shotgun, Clough throws, incomplete, picked off. Oh, he had it for a second.
Steve Marquez is not going to be liking watching that tape tomorrow in film, because that was a gift in his hands.
Now, does the coach keep showing that? You know,
oh, he'll show it to him a few times.
Will he?
Take a look at it right here. Right in his hands, and he just never got control.
And will his fellow players say, that's why, Marquez, you don't play offense? Do they say things like that?
Oh, yes, they do. Especially to Steve.
From the 21.
I see some new bodies on the field. 43 got an opportunity for a play in at St. Mary's. That is Matthew Peters, I believe. Ball intended for Dan Carrillo. That is Clove's 10th passing attempt. Now the percentage is coming down perhaps from 100 to 50%.
Take a look at this throw here. The coverage that St. Mary's is using right now is unbelievable. They've got a receiver there ready to catch the ball, but there are two D-backs right on him as well, ready to get in the way.
So throwing into double coverage, it is something unless you are Kurt Warner or John Elway, you do not do.
Back up, guys, off the field.
By the way, a reminder, in a few weeks' time, St. Mary's University will have their homecoming game. I'm sure it'll be covered. In fact, I know it will be. Nice pickup. Wonder if Mr. Sharp plays shortstop in the summertime. Josh Labucki, nice over-the-shoulder catch. A gain of 5 over 6 yards on the play.
That was a great punt. Unbelievable. He got the ball up in the air. He gave his cover guys time to get downfield, and they did an excellent job of limiting the return on that. Take a look at it right here. That thing is up there.
Yeah, but see, you're looking at it from the punter's viewpoint. I say, that was a great catch.
That it was.
Look at that.
And look at him. It was a great catch because he was pushed down the field.
Questions and St. Mary's from Huskies 49.
Ryan Jones in the whole game, or so it looks like it. Perhaps the coach is saying, well, the first half it was so wet, Ryan, you really didn't get a chance. We'll see what happens now. Mullings to the 50, moves up. Good gain, 6 or 7 yards on the play. Now, he came into camp, or am I wrong here? He came into camp as maybe back number 4. I look at Perez first, Dean Jones second, Gabe Harvey 3,
yep,
and Mullings 4. As he moved up the chart, does I see Mr. Harvey on the sidelines and not in?
That's something we'll have to ask Blake Nill about this week. I mean, throughout the week, Harvey's been ahead of him. It depends on what time you want to use them to. Harvey's going in for more power back type situations.
Well, in fairness to Gabe, he was hurt.
That he was. He did actually sit out last week's game.
Due to injury. Now, you were talking about dress. They can dress what? You say 45 at home?
45 for the home team, 40 for the visiting team.
Now, I want to know why they can only bring up 40 people when St. Mary's can. Why not 45?
Off the top of my head, one, you can only fit 42 people in a bus when you
makes
travel.
sense.
If you don't want to spend that second bus, you're not going to bring the
You're
extra
not going to
three
spend
guys.
a bus for 3, exactly.
Well, a lot of teams in Ontario and whatnot, they have 45 for both things. They have a bus for offense and a bus for defense, right? So I guess it's...
Perhaps their distances are maybe a little longer also.
That's also another possibility, yeah.
So there's only 42. Well, that makes sense why you would have that amount. But there's the extra 5. So if you're the home team, you get a chance to dress 5 extra people. Who from last week do we not see? I've not heard you mention the name Pedley, who played well last week.
That's right. Pedley was a big factor. In fact, Pedley is on the sidelines there. Pedley and Atlas Mateko are both...
Have not seen action.
Have not seen action yet today. And these are guys who could very well be impact players. If not today in this game, look for them next year. It's interesting to note, though, not only is St. Mary's still only using Ryan Jones as quarterback, they've still got their entire starting receiver core on the field. They've still got Jay Curry. They've still got Paul Fleming. They've still got Patrick Tebow.
Well, I think for these guys, it'll be the first time in a long time in a regular season game that they have played. And the last time that St. Mary's lost a contest was 2 years ago, right here, Raymond Field at Acadia. They lost 21-18. Since that time, in regular season play, they have been undefeated. Since that time, they've only lost 2 ball games. One in the Vanier Cup on a trick, funny bounce on a kick, and last year in the Atlantic Bowl. It's been a tremendously successful program. Fumble!
And recovered by St. Mary's.
Did you lose audio, did you say?
And insofar as Acadia is concerned, I can't recall the last time they haven't made a playoffs. I know maybe it was 95 or 96 when it was X against Mount A, but Acadia been relatively competitive. They went to the Atlantic Bowl game in 99. Trevor Martin, Manny Johnson, and company, and took one of those crazy kickers to boot a 45-yard field goal.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. It was 98 that they went to the Atlantic Bowl, 99 being St. Mary's, and then again St. Mary's last year. But the Acadia Axemen have had a very competitive program throughout the year. In fact, you would have to go back almost 5 years before you would see a Jewett Cup game that the Axemen weren't a part of.
Well, the Acadia Cats come so close in the Atlantic Bowl. One, as you mentioned, the 98 contest, it took a 45-yard field goal. And 1995, Western against Acadia, put 100 points on the board, 55-45. And the score was 48-45 with like 40 seconds left in the contest. Mullings.
Ball carried by number 15.
Flag on the play, gain of around a yard. And we're down to 1 minute and 20 seconds left in our broadcast today. While we've got a little bit of time and the special teams come out, I certainly want to thank you. Thank the people behind the camera that you don't see. We have them scattered all over, from audio people to statisticians. Of course, our guests in halftime, Monty Mosier and Jody Jewers, our thanks to them. And of course, the people who, as I mentioned, you don't see behind the cameras, holding the microphones, getting the sounds of the game, and the people in the truck. Those who do the replays, those who put the graphics, the people who bring the audio. And we'll be doing it all over again Friday night. Ball is taken. I think it's automatic, no yards.
We certainly haven't seen a punt team that hasn't pulled that flag yet.
I'm just one of the questions I'll ask later is, I think it's automatic.
Bartocolucci's kick right here. He gets it off, and there are hands all over the place. They're very lucky that ball didn't get blocked. He ends up putting a wobbler up there. I'm assuming he rushed it a little bit to get that off. And Romans gets the ball, and yes, Gabe Harvey is inside the line, inside the 5-yard radius there, so will be no yards on St. Mary's.
58 seconds left in this contest.
Come on, guys, let's go. 58
So now this conference, after 2 weeks, has only one undefeated team, that being the St. Mary's Huskies, who are rated nationally as number 3. Matt Clough
throws, and that's going to be picked off. It is Philippe Roberge. Smallest guy on the team gets a big play.
And we've got some action at midfield. Flags all over the place.
With 48 seconds, that is not necessary.
Looks like Jeff Moody's taking exception. That's the second time we've seen somebody pulling him out of a ruckus.
Well, one thing I've noticed over the years, especially as a head coach, is if there's one area, and Blake Neal is honest, and he says, I don't like this. You know, there's a certain degree of quote-unquote controlled aggression, but it has to be controlled. And once a play is over and you've made your hit on your opponent, that is it. And people will say, well, what difference does it make? It's 18-0, John. The difference is when the score is not 18-0 in the Atlantic Bowl or Vanier Cup, it could be the difference in winning or losing in the season.
That's it exactly. I think Dan McNally said it best when he said, a football game is a game that's played at the absolute line. If you cross that line, you're in trouble. If you don't play to that line, you're in trouble. I think we're seeing an example right now of guys that are crossing that line. That was definitely uncalled for. And now we just wait and see what the referees saw and where the ball's going to end up. I
mean, in hockey, there are agitators. There are people, and I'm not talking about the fighters, people who will try and goad you into a penalty. An inferior person who can get Jaromir Jagr off for several minutes, or Vincent Lecavalier, or one of those highly skilled people, is doing his job, and you have to realize you can't be goaded. You help nobody by being kicked out of a game.
Well, that's
you don't
just
help
it.
your team.
Hockey's a different game because it, to some extent, has guys whose job is to go out there and goad people. Football, on the other hand, very much different. It's completely a discipline game.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of, you know, there's talking and everything else, but you can't react to it.
Exactly, know where the line is.
Now, when people tell me, well, they're learning, they're young, I say, baloney. Some of these guys have been playing football since they're 7 or 8 years old. You know, it is, you let your actions do the talking for you, and if you have a problem, you see the official. But he was holding me, coach. It's still not worth a 15-yard penalty. As many officials, John, only see the retaliatory one. They don't see the initial call.
Exactly, and a ref can't call a call that he doesn't see. Sure, he may have done it to you, but if the only thing the ref sees is you doing something stupid back, it's going to be the stupid back that he's going to call.
Well, as I said, for the first time in a long time that the entire, as you mentioned, the offensive starters, especially the receivers, the only change I have seen has been in the running back position. Perez has played the whole aspect. Taken out, obviously, when he got hurt. Hakeem, Perez, the rest of it, they're all there. Tyler, as you mentioned, Fleming, Curry. It's been a long time for these guys.
That's just it. The running backs have been platoon. Louis Perez has been in there, Mullings has been in there, Hakeem has been in there, but the receivers have been pretty stagnant. They're staying in the same spot. They're working their patterns.
33 seconds left in this contest. So St. Mary's will, unless something happens here like a fumble recovery for a touchdown, the Huskies will now go 2 straight games without allowing a single point. I think last year did they go 2 or 3. There was a bunch, and then finally somebody got a field goal against them when they were down, like they were ahead 33 to something. I think Acadia went for a field goal.
That it was, and Matt Sharp did kick one to put the final score on that one something like 43-3.
I like the game. I like what I saw from Acadia today, John. Their defense, certainly at the beginning, was very, very good. Holding St. Mary's to only 2 touchdowns is an accomplishment.
That it is. Not only that, but they played a very, very smart football game.
Well, take away one play, the touchdown by Picot that was called back.
That's right.
You basically have yourselves 2 touchdown against 1 touchdown game. Friday night could be interesting.
Friday night will be interesting. And again, a reminder to the good folks, tune in Friday night, come down to the stadium Friday night, a little bit of football. If you can't make it to the stadium, you've always got it right here at home on Eastlink television.
Well, unless they're going to redo this, but there is no time. The penalty is against St. Mary's. Infraction, obviously. Time violation. And what do? You just kneel down here, or do you do? Okay,
At
Jones
this
is
point,
coming
you
out.
kneel
Yeah,
down.
you kneel.
Why risk an injury? Why risk another play?
Why give somebody an opportunity to take a cheap shot at you?
Or ruin your shutout?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So once again, it's our thanks to the people who make this broadcast possible. Our thanks to you. Of course, hope the people in PEI who once upon a time had a program, the UPEI Panthers. Jonathan, I recall doing a game around, it was windy. That's all I can tell you. Scaffolding, and it was windy. And I'd love to see more universities pick up the football program. That is the game, our final score, 18-0. And a game, obviously, that had one key person on offense, Luis Perez.
That it was. Luis Perez had an outstanding football game. Anytime a guy like Luis Perez is getting tackled by the safety 15 yards downfield, you know you're having you're having a good football game. You know you're going to move the ball. I mean, you just can't ask much more than that. And at the beginning of the game, we talked about it. We talked about the battle within the battle, the offensive line versus the defensive line, making that kind of thing happen in a game where throwing the ball obviously wasn't that successful in a thing.
It was a game that the weather did play a factor. It played a factor in several areas, especially in the first half. Second half, fairly dry. I know if I'm St. Mary's, I say, way to go, guys. We're now 2-0. We haven't allowed a point. If I'm Acadia, I'm saying, hey, biggest team in the nation, only scored twice on us. Bring on Friday. I think there are positives in both cases.
Not only that, Acadia's looking, they scored a touchdown today. It got called back, but they know little key things, discipline things like that, they can work on. They can grow from that. That was an outstanding job by the Acadia Axemen today.
So there you have. We look at Sonny Wolf, of course, looking at some of his coaching staff. We will have some statistics for you momentarily as we watch the players going off the field. There is a Blake Nill, who has certainly made news this week, and I think he's very, very glad to put last game behind him. We can now talk about this game, and he'll draw a lot of positives from this one. I think his veterans certainly enjoyed the opportunity, John, to play a football game totally.
That they did. It's something we haven't seen from St. Mary's in a long, long time. A full game from Ryan Jones, a full game from Jay Curry, a full game from Patrick Tebow, and that's the kind of things that you've got to do to keep to be prepared, to keep your mind mentally that full 60 minutes, to have that kind of game type conditioning.
And again, we mentioned that starting next week, I think I'll give you the stats and the standings prior to going into the game of all the teams in Canada that are in the top 10, because obviously you're going to hear about them on the way to the Vanier Cup. It's not too often that you've got 4 or 5 teams that are in contention, and this year, John, there are. I know that people out here say, boy, St. Mary's are strong, and they are, but you mentioned McMaster is strong.
Absolutely. McMaster has a veteran quarterback in Ben Chapdelaine. He's got very, very prototypical type receivers, and they're very much like the Acadia offense of old. They like to throw the ball. They like to put it in the air. They like to keep the defensive back on their heels.
And, of course, we look around, we see Laval. Laval, I've got the guy who won the Vanier Cup 2 years ago. He came back, I think, from a slight injury. That is Mathieu Bertrand.
That's right. Bertrand is back. And, again, the Laval program is a program that has tremendous support, unprecedented. They got 18,000 fans out for their first game of the year. They lost that game, but any program that's getting that kind of support is making money, can afford to do things like going out and recruiting across the country. Go ahead.
And out west, we have another guy, so another good team. They thought he was fluky last year, the team was, but they're, I think, 2 or 3-0 now, and that's Regina and Darrell Leeson.
Absolutely. Darrell Leeson, what can you say about this guy? He absolutely makes it and breaks it for the Regina Rams. And it's not even just what he does as a player, it's what he does off the field. It's how he leads his team in the dressing room. It's how he leads his team in the weight room.
Is this a post-game ritual that we're seeing here with Blake Nill?
This absolutely is. St. Mary's, obviously being an old school, they build a school as the place where tradition meets the future, and this is one of their traditions. Before and after every game, there's the team prayer, going back to the days when the school was run by the Catholic, the Jesuit priests.
So this is part of a prayer meeting.
To start with, it's Coach Nill telling you what you did good, what you did bad, then you pray.
Okay.
Then you pray.
So that is part, you say that's tradition.
That is.
What happens in the morning? College players come out on Sunday mornings, do they not, even if it's some light workout?
It depends on the program. St. Mary's, for example, does have a morning workout about 11 o'clock. The team comes in, they go through some running, stretch things out. A lot of programs don't do that. Getting back to the Acadia Axemen, they will do that. St. FX, for example, will take Sunday off and will come out on Monday, whereas St. Mary's takes a Monday off.
Okay, let's go to, I believe we have some statistics or we have some highlights for you. And look at some of the highlights here. One of the 2 touchdowns by number 34, Luis Perez. That is rain, folks. Liquid sunshine that came down. That was on the very first drive. This was blocked. All right, that is a Sharp was off. Next is the interception, which I believe will come down in the hands of Mr. 7, Dennis Arruda. Some of the highlights from today's game. Matt Clough throwing. And a beautiful, beautiful pickoff by Stephen Marquez. There are your stats for you. Obviously, the figure that gets me is 356 against 105. The bulk of that, Jonathan, 260. The bulk of that, Luis Perez.
Absolutely. Luis Perez made the difference for this team today. And what else can you do? You're playing a game in the rain. You're playing a game where you can't get a hold of the ball, and you've got to keep it on the ground.
And those are the other key ones, of course. St. Mary's wins in every category, and even in the turnovers, which did not at this stage turn out to be that bad, but certainly could have been. That is basically it. 18-0 is the final, so the Huskies score a back-to-back shutout. They play the same team next Friday in Halifax. I'll wait for some direction from, we have it, and again, that basically is our broadcast. Do you have any closing words?
I actually do. I'd just like to remind the good folks that if you'd like to comment on this live Eastlink television event or any other show you see on Eastlink Community Television, call 1-888-354-8439, or always on the World Wide Web. Give us an email. It's comments@eastlink.ca.
With the sights of Acadia University and Wolfville in the background, on the edge of Raymond Field, on behalf of the people behind the scenes, on behalf of John Chaders, I'm Alex J. Walling, and we'll catch you next Friday night for AUS, Atlantic University Sport Football, on Eastlink Television.
Today on Eastlink News.
I think people now are buying oil now thinking that, well, you know, I'll be able to make that last until Christmas time.
One hand at a time, one person at a time. We can't do it alone. We as a world can do it.
Pray to God that nothing happens, I guess. That's all you can do.
It was an emotional day here at CFB Shearwater as friends and family said goodbye to new recruits off to take part in one of the most uncertain times in Canadian military history. There was hardly a dry eye to be found as 20 freshly sworn-in recruits boarded a bus for CFB Gagetown. It was an especially difficult day for the Carpenter family, who are sending 2 sons off to basic training and possibly war.
I think they're doing a damn good thing for going in. It's hard seeing them leave home. It is. Like, it's going to be a bunch of crying moms and dads, but we're going to have a smile on our face and we're going to wait for them to come back and pray to God that keep them safe.
Many of these recruits could soon be involved in situations they've only seen on TV. U.S. President Bush has asked Americans to be patient in what could be a long conflict. The Canadian forces are on heightened alert, ready to help if asked. It's a scary prospect for anyone, especially those leaving home for the first time.
Any human being would be nervous for conflict and confrontation, but you know, you never know. It's part of life, and it's just hitting home a little bit more now, so you got to suck it up and do your best.
In total, 77 recruits were sworn in on this day, each aspiring for something different. But it's safe to say they shared similar thoughts for the future.
Pray to God that nothing happens, I guess. That's all you can do.
In Shearwater, Corey Baird, Eastlink News.
The Canadian flag is still flying at half-mast here at Atlantic View Elementary School in Lawrencetown. Students here, like students all over the world, know why. But Atlantic View is the starting point for a very special grassroots project, Hands Around the World for Peace and Unity.
The world could certainly use a helping hand these days, and the more hands, the better.
It's a very simple idea and an exciting project. Just to give you a little history of the story, I was approached by a parent on last Wednesday, a parent and her husband, out on the playground who had a wonderful idea. And when we started to listen to the idea, we thought, you know, what a great school project this would be. And Vianne Fowler, who's the mom, whose little boy's in grade 4, she spearheaded the whole thing. I spoke with the staff and the students about it, and they thought, wow, this is neat. And sort of snowballed from that.
I think the big thing about the hand is when you meet somebody and greet somebody, you extend your hand out as a friendly greeting. And when we join hands in a circle for whether it's a prayer or a celebration, it's usually a symbol of something good.
In the aftermath of a massive terrorist attack, it's difficult not to feel powerless. This grade 4 class is doing something tangible.
Help people that lost someone in the crash to that there is still hope.
Well, elementary kids certainly need that concrete example. I mean, some of the things that have happened in the world are so unbelievable for them to understand. When you take it down to an elementary kid's level and you actually use the hands-on and literally a hand, the message to them is very simple. The hands we use for healing, not for hurting, and it's at the grassroots level for them. So that's how they understand for sure.
They feel like they're doing something, making an impact on the world in general. And every child in the world is going to feel very important that their hand is going to be involved in this big link that we're going to embrace the whole world with. They're going to be really proud of who they are.
25 feet equals 100 hands of all shapes and sizes. To circle the world, somewhere in the neighborhood of 530 million hands are needed. It's certainly doable given the world population of 6.1 billion. And it's so simple. A child can do it.
One hand at a time, one person at a time. We can't do it alone. We as a world can do it. And I truly believe in my heart, we can do it one hand at a time. It's just as simple as that.
If you want to join hands for peace and unity in the world, send your handprint to Hands Around the World Against Terrorism, Atlantic View Elementary School, 3391 Highway 207, Lawrencetown, Nova Scotia, B2Z1R5. In Lawrencetown, Barb Anderson, Eastlink News.
Shock and bitter disappointment at City Hall Tuesday as HRM's Chief Administrative Officer Ken Meach handed in his resignation to Regional Council, heading off a scheduled closed-door debate over the contract of HRM's most senior bureaucrat and a potential $10,000 in performance bonuses. There has been strong disagreement on council over Meach's $137,000 salary and job performance. His supporters say HRM has lost one of its most valuable assets.
I am personally very disappointed. With that disappointment, it's tempered with a growth in my personal admiration for Mr. Meach as a person of dignity and a person of great professional and personal integrity.
Councillor Steve Stretch, one of Meach's critics, says his decision to resign was the best way for HRM to move on.
The bottom line is he offered his resignation today, and the reasons behind that only he knows. But I think he's an honourable man, and he did what he felt was the right thing to do for the good of HRM.
As CAO, Meach has guided HRM operations since amalgamation. His resignation is effective immediately. Meach himself was not available for comment. Peter Garnham reporting.
Limited pesticide use didn't seem to affect too many residents in HRM this summer, as most lawn care problems came as a direct result of the hot, dry weather. Overall, the city's first year with the pesticide bylaw in place went relatively smoothly, with only a few exceptions. Getting rid of those pesky weeds by spraying was not an option for some residents this summer. The first year with the pesticide bylaw in place, the city considers to be a success. The bylaw states that the use of pesticides is prohibited within 50 meters of registered properties or provincial property. City spokesperson John O'Brien says they received 400 complaints over the summer months of people using the pesticides. Out of that 400, 13 tickets were issued.
In the case, there was indication that people had willfully decided to apply those. It wasn't a mistake. They had made a decisive action to do that, and of course that's why they were ticketed. And of course we're prepared to challenge those in the courts.
125 people registered with the city as having some type of health risk associated with the use of pesticides. The bylaw came into effect as of April 1st, but it is only a partial ban. As of April 1st, 2003, there will be a total ban. This has some business owners very upset. Don McCarthy is with the Braemar Pest Control in Bedford. He's upset because he claims the 125 people who have registered with the city don't have proof that the pesticides have any effect on their health.
We have 125 people in a population base of 300,000 people who are affected. So 300,000 people are suffering because 125 people in the community are saying, well, we have a problem with this.
McCarthy says HRM hasn't done enough to educate the public on exactly what the bylaw states. The city agrees that education was a problem, but they say that they did their share to make people aware of what they can and cannot do.
I think the main problem has been just people clearly understanding what the bylaw says and what they can do and what they can't do. And we've been taking a pretty active role in providing public education.
McCarthy says he thinks the bylaw is wrong and that this time the city has gone too far.
As far as I'm concerned, this is like total overkill. Okay, it's not good for business, not good for the people. It's taking away the people's rights, to look after their own lawns, and it's wrong.
In Halifax, Serena Adams, Eastlink News.
HRM's winter parking ban will stay on ice. This week, Council voted down a proposal to examine the implications of bringing back the winter ban. Councillor Linda Mosher says there were many problems with on-street parking last winter, especially due to the heavy snowfall, and the ban was worth another look.
We do not know how much snow we're going to get this year, and we need to improve upon the current situation to ensure our streets are safe.
Mosher says many residents continue to park on street during storms, making snow clearing difficult and threatening safety. She says police wasted too much time tracking down vehicle owners to get them to move. But most councillors didn't want to reopen the parking debate, arguing any problems can be dealt with without the threat of bringing back the ban. Peter Garnham reporting.
Welcome to My Kitchen, only on Eastlink Television, right here at home. The Maritime's only phone-in sports show, Harv Sportsland on Eastlink Television, right here at home.
Summer may be on its last legs, but don't dig out those sweaters just yet. A warmer than usual autumn is being projected, but whether or not that's good news depends entirely on who you talk to.
We can't keep thinking that this is just a hot day here or a hot day there. There's a real pattern emerging.
Ronald Coleman is the director of GPI Atlantic, a think tank that recently released a report on global climate changes. Environment Canada's autumn forecast predicts higher than normal temperatures. The 1990s was the hottest decade on record. Coleman says it's nice to be able to walk around in t-shirts in October, but people have to start taking notice of our changing environment.
This is the greatest challenge that has faced this country since the Second World War. So it seems like a hot day here, a warm day there, but really, if you look at the big picture, this is a serious issue. It's probably the greatest challenge facing us in the next century.
Coleman says we need to work to conserve energy more efficiently and make better use of mass transit. Environment Canada says several factors are responsible for our warmer climate.
And we're looking at a couple of features. One would be a high-pressure system over the area of Bermuda, and also another high-pressure system that's been fairly persistent over the Midwestern United States. And what it's been doing is been blocking most of the low-pressure systems and steering them northward.
Most people on the street aren't convinced this autumn's warm forecast is anything other than good news.
I think it's going to